Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hivemind October 2022 recap podcast. Lots of new music to talk about. Not enough time.
Facts.
We had to make a lot of cuts this month, so there might be some fan favorite names not in the discussion this month. But
Rest in peace, Polyphia.
I think Lorna Shard probably deserves to be mentioned as well.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
Just in terms of like how much they've blown up over the last year. There's just too much for us to talk about this month. We had to make our picks a little bit more, I want to say discreet. We had to make them truly be our favorite songs and albums of the month that we truly enjoyed the most. So, with that being said, how we all doing today? Justin, Derek, Jacob?
Pretty well.
Chilling.
I am basking in this. It's really warm here this
Dude,
week.
It's
been like,
Yeah.
Dude, why the fuck is it's 70
November.
degrees in
Because the
Connecticut.
world is ending. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yesterday, it almost
It's
hit
80 over here.
It hit 80 degrees Fahrenheit in Connecticut.
Yeah, it's 80 here in Virginia.
Fucked.
and it is 24 here in Canada in Celsius.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You guys
All
have to
right,
figure
hold
that
on.
out.
24,
translate
24
that to
C
English
to
for me?
F. Folks, it's 75 degrees. It's
Okay.
warmer where he is than where I'm out. Wait, does that say 78? Never mind, I lied to you, brother. It's 78 here. It's fucked up. Where do weather? How do I got a new phone. Where weather?
It's actually warmer now than it was at the beginning of September. That's
Yeah.
how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think so.
I fucking hate Virginia because it's got the most like bipolar weather ever. Like at any given point. Like the winter, some weeks it's 70 and then it's right back down to 40. Like I'm looking at the weather right now. It's 80 right now. Next Sunday is going to be 45. Like
I think this is an anomaly for it to be this warm in the beginning of November. How do I transition that back to music?
It's been a hot month.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna get it out of the way.
transition.
Be sure to follow us on social media at HiveMindRadio_ on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We do these monthly recaps live at the beginning of every month, usually the first weekend of the month. You can hang out with us in the chat, talk it up with all the new releases that we're going to be talking about. Share your opinions and all that. We're also trying to hit 100 subscribers on YouTube before the end of 2022, so please help us out in doing that. We are close. We are within striking distance. We're at the home stretch of getting to that milestone, so it would be appreciated. And also be sure to check out this month's Spotify playlist. There's a playlist for each month that we do these recaps. So that playlist is ordered in how we are going to be discussing everything, so be sure to check that out as well if you want to follow along. Anything else we want to talk about this month before we get into the actual music?
I feel like we usually do our Pokemon update, but
Usually, like it wasn't just last month,
Yeah.
right?
Like I didn't just introduce that last month.
true.
I need to make it known that I caught a shiny Magmar, but I can't use it.
I caught
Yeah.
a shiny Noivern.
Dude, I'm the
And I
only
am
one who
using
hasn't
it.
gotten a shiny at this point. It's so fucked up.
It's pretty funny.
It's just, I think I got the least deaths though, so we chilling.
Yeah.
I'm at 4.
I have 3.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
close.
Yep.
I don't even
I had
remember
one till I fumbled the bag.
Fumbled back a little bit.
I
I
say,
had 0 until I fumbled the bag.
I swear I have a P brain, but I was like, yeah, this thing's got multi-skill. And then I switched in and I was like, I completely forgot. Like 10 seconds after saying it.
Oh, I went to a show and
Yes.
I this is all I want to say about it because I just want to keep it brief. Pierce the Veil fans are really annoying.
That's so real.
That's all I'm gonna say. I
speaking
probably
of
just
shows-
triggered a bunch of people.
I'm going to the Royal Coda Idola Rain City Drive concert later this month.
Man. It's Body Thieves opening for that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good show. I wish I could have gone. I'm jealous. I hope you have a good time.
Hopefully. It's down here in Virginia Beach. It's to an area I've not been to yet, so.
What is it, Elevation Lounge, right? Or Elevation 27, something?
Elevation 27 sounds good.
Yeah.
And then we'll be meeting up next month.
Yes. For Bad Omens.
A tour of the
stuff.
concrete fucking jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we've been doing this for over 2.5 years, and finally we're all gonna actually get to see each other.
Not even just that, like how long we've known each other. I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
saw Justin, but
I mean, like, I've known Justin since 2016 at this point, roughly, I think.
God, it has
My
been
memory
since
serves.
2016.
And like the Hivemind podcast only started in 2020, but this group kind of started in like late 2018, I'd say. So yeah, it's crazy.
Little known fact, I used to be a Jacob fan. Big Jake YouTube guy.
Yeah. Back when my
Never
channel-
meet your heroes.
And then you get to know him, and he's just an asshole.
Yeah,
He's
back when
fine,
my
he's
YouTube
fine.
channel was popping off in 2015 and downhill ever since.
Yeah, that guy, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's okay.
It's
I
fun.
remember I watched it with that one intro that it was that song was like, "Come and get it if you really want it. Come and get it if you really need it." You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what round that was, but that was the first time I watched a Jake video. Because I can't remember who. I think I was watching Tommy or something, and he died, and I'm like, well, shit, I gotta go watch somebody else.
Dude, that's
shit.
like
This
I
guy's got
remember
copper bars for his orders. I need to watch him more often.
Speaking of Jake, you want to help me out with this Our Mirage song?
Yeah, let's talk about some good ass music, shall we? Our Mirage have dropped a brand new song, "Help Me Out."
Whoosh. I got it, Justin. Don't worry.
I got it, Justin. It's all
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
All right. Is this Our Mirage's best song? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Holy shit.
mm,
No, you said yes. You're not going to
Yeah.
retract that
No
statement. You said yes.
take-backsies.
No
No
take-backsies.
take-backsies
Okay.
allowed.
let me specify. It's their best song instrumentally. I think I
Yes.
like Black Hole better, but it's because I like Timo's cleans vocals more than his uncleans vocals. But in this in particular, it really sells the song. So I'm a bit more accepting of them in this particular song than I normally would be, but I still think Black Hole is my favorite.
The crazy thing for me about this band is that this band has always been the epitome of mediocrity for the longest time. And then this album cycle, they started to kick it into gear with a couple of songs that I really like. This is their first song that's approaching that like 5-minute length as far as I'm aware. If they had a longer song in the past, I didn't care for it. The fact that a band that I have labeled as the epitome of mediocrity has released a nearly 5-minute epic in the vein of like a Pray for Rain or a Mercy by Bad Omens. Keep in mind, this is not as good as either of those two legendary songs in my opinion, but this is incredible. This is, I don't say a 5-minute epic lightly. This song takes you on a journey from start to finish, and it feels unpredictable at times, and consistently I feel like they're making the right choice to truly take you on that journey. Such an incredible song.
Hey, that is incredibly well said. Shit, I was just gonna say how nice I thought the electronics sounded. Like, it's probably, honestly, like not even instrumentally like their best song, but it's probably one of the more instrumentally successful songs I've heard all year.
Well, it's because, like, when their last album dropped, Jake, I think you and I listened to it at the same time, and
Yep.
we kind of recognized that they had a pattern going on where it was just cleans, chorus, uncleans, chorus, breakdown, final chorus, and it was just that through the entire second album.
Pretty much.
But this, I feel like, breaks that mold quite a bit, especially with the last couple of singles have definitely strayed away from that kind of pattern that works, but you need a little bit more variety in this. And I think since Calling, I really think they've found that with this sound. This album does drop on the 25th of this month, so hopefully it keeps its pace and holds the potential. I don't know how many tracks it is. I'm gonna look that up here.
I'm gonna say it right now. Our Mirage, this album is the final Dark Horse top 10 contender of the year for me, I think. With the strength of this song, I think there's a shot that this could make my top 10 albums of the year. This song is just incredible. It's really Like, I would not have been expecting to say that, but
So I just looked at the track list, and Summertown is the closer. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, I'm not going to retract what I said, but
Oh my god.
it might not be as much of a dark horse as I thought. Let's move on, shall we? Any more thoughts on this?
Bro, no way. He switched up that quickly. Yo, remind me never to tell Jake anything, bro. Never commit any illegal activities with Jake. He's gonna get to the police station. He's gonna fold in like 2 seconds. It'll be over. He would abandon me. And you know what? He would also abandon us. Speaking of, Barry Tomorrow have dropped their newest single, Abandon Us, which I believe is the lead single off their upcoming album coming in 2023.
Y'all can catch me at McDonald's. You guys can go get like sandwiches or some shit. I'll be
Yeah, exactly. This, man, I didn't think I'd ever be able to say this, but Barry Tomorrow is the forerunner for Album of the Year 2023 at this point. I'm kind of sad that Death and Life aren't on the album, and it's just like a standalone EP, but I think the album's 11 tracks and comes out early 2023. Their previous vocalist, I think his name was Jason, is like widely regarded as one of probably the best frontmen in metalcore, and I really think this new clean vocalist kind of blows him out of the water still. He almost sounded too epic for me, and now this is more kind of like a safe sound, but the production on the vocals and the guitars makes it work in such a way that, like, I think that honestly, Barry Tomorrow are kind of at the top of their game now, and I really don't think they can do any wrong. I loved Death, I love Life, and I almost like this more than both those songs. So yeah, it's The Seventh Son is the upcoming album. The way that the drums switch up, the fact that there's like, what, I think 3 breakdowns in the song in under 4 minutes, like catchy, clean chorus, punchy verses. I couldn't ask for more from a metalcore song, to be honest. Like this, it's not like Snowblood level for me, but it's up there. Like this is checking almost every box that I have, and I really think Barry Tomorrow are gonna end up being like one of, if not like top 3 probably, of my favorite metalcore bands by the time this album's all said and done. So
I don't have too much to add. I think it's pretty obvious that I'm not the biggest fan of this band. But I will say the delivery on How Could They Do That to Us
right
is kind of sick. I kind of don't really care for the rest of the song, but that delivery has stuck in my head even though I haven't listened to it in weeks. So
whispered switch up on it right before the last breakdown. Oh. Yeah, this song, I think that's probably the most played song of the month. Or at least it came out this month.
Really?
Granted, I wasn't listening to music for like 2 weeks, but Jacob, I gotta know. How we feeling?
It's Barry Tomorrow. I'm not the biggest fan. It's okay. That's
Derek,
that's what I'll say.
I think I need like a track list of how many times you've said something is going to be the like, album of the year 2023.
Yeah, but like I mean it
I've
this
got
time,
the
you know?
I've got
like,
the Twitter thread, bro.
bro, like
That was
like,
for this year, not next year.
I
Yeah.
can continue it.
I think what it's this Amorosa,
Wind
probably a couple
Walkers.
other things. Oh fuck. Oh no. You know, no shade to Windwalkers. Sorry, I feel like I betrayed them by saying that Barry Tomorrow is the forerunner now. I like Drowning Hymns too. Oh no, it's over. Every year it keeps getting better. Stop.
How is Derek already questioning his top 3 albums of 2023 when he hasn't
Was
been
that
at
a
his top 10
crisis,
of
honestly?
I'm having a
2023?
crisis, man. Everything's switching up.
I mean, both of you guys have backtracked on something already, so I guess
Yeah.
Justin and I are next.
Yeah.
That's why I don't say shit.
yeah.
That's why behind a paywall it makes my life easy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I guess I'm next then. No.
Let's talk about this next song. Ad Infinitum have dropped a brand new single, Upside Down. I missed out big time on not discussing their album from last year on the podcast.
Yes.
Because it released at some point late last year, and I got to it in December, like a month or two after it released, and it borderline missed my top 10 albums of the year. I still think that album is really fucking good, and at this point of every album that's announced for 2023, I think Ad Infinitum is my frontrunner for a top 10 contender. Similar to you with Barry Tomorrow. That is very willing to change once more bands start announcing albums, but as of right now, there aren't a lot of early 2023 albums I'm looking forward to. Ad Infinitum is up there for an album that I am really excited about. I think this song is solid. It's like a solid mid-tier song for them. It's not reaching the peaks of songs like Into the Night or what's the other one? Animals is really good. Inferno is fantastic.
I love Inferno.
This is the most memorable part about this song is the breakdown.
Yes, but I would say the chorus has it beat, bro.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I want to say the breakdown not because it's a good breakdown, but because it's just weird.
Yeah,
I believe it's a foghorn.
It's fucking great though. Maybe I'm a foghorn fan. Who knows?
Hearing that instrument at the start of the breakdown threw me off. I'm like, what the hell noise just went through my ears? I still don't know if I like it or not. I think I do because the song is just good, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's so obscure that it almost feels like it's taking away from the experience for me. But with all that being said, it's a small, I can't word. It's a small nitpick in an otherwise fantastic song.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny because I just pressed play on the playlist. I didn't look at it, and I didn't realize Amaranth had dropped a song this month. And so I was listening to this. I'm like, damn, this is really scratching that Amaranth itch that I've been missing. And then Amaranth came on next, and I was like,
so any other thoughts on Ad Infinitum, or shall we move on then?
No, just one of honestly, a very surprising band for me that I didn't expect to like really like coming into this year. And then like Inferno and Reinvented really like I remember as a very distinct part of earlier this year for me, and they're just continuing on their trend of putting out fantastic music. So I think I like them better than Amaranth at this point. Like if we take the current iterations of both bands,
funny enough,
I
might be leaning the same way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it then. Amaranth have dropped a brand new song, Find Life.
Life can save us. Come and just find the temptation of human desire.
Which is their first song since vocalist Henrik has left the band. So at this point, Amaranth are kind of in limbo without a harsh vocalist. So I feel like this song is something to kind of just buy time until they find a proper replacement.
Yeah.
Because this time of year, like late 2022, this would be when they would usually drop that follow-up album. Literally for the past like 6 years, they have dropped an album consistently October of every even year since Maximalism, I believe. So I was expecting to get an Amaranth album around this time of year. We're not getting one, but I believe this song is just here as like biding time until they can find that replacement. I know they've been touring with a couple of different placeholders, harsh vocalists on their live shows at this point. I don't think they have properly found the right guy. So I'm in limbo with how I feel about Amaranth, because Amaranth with Henrik is one of my favorite bands of all time. Amaranth without Henrik is still a really good band, but God, he added so much unique flavor to Amaranth that I feel like it's going to be hard to replace.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe it's just virtue of the genre, that there are a lot of bands, female-fronted, power metal, leaning into metalcore bands, that sounded a lot like Amaranth. And before I could say, well, no, Amaranth's different because they have Henrik. And now it's like, all right, like, I mean, like, Elise is talented, don't get me wrong, and I think she's fantastic, but now Amaranth he's just another Amaranth copy, you know? Like, maybe copy is a little disingenuous, but you know what I mean. Like that style, they were distinct,
Yeah.
and now it's just like they're kind of falling in line with all the other bands
Yep.
that sounded like them before. And like I said, I think Ad Infinitum doing a fantastic job of keeping it fresh. Where I feel like, and I mean, like it's hard, right? Like I get it, and I understand. Like you said, I think it's a placeholder, and just I hope they find somebody who can bring them back to where they were before.
It's
It's gonna be hard.
I
What's up?
like this more than anything since Helix. It's funny.
I respect it. I respect it.
I understand. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of
It
sense
does,
given your taste.
honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did like some stuff of Manifest, but I never really went back to like some of the stuff off Helix.
Yeah, Helix is still my favorite album of theirs. I think Manifest still top 2 album 2020 in my opinion. I'm not won over in the same way I was when they returned with Viral as the lead single for Manifest. So time will tell what's going to happen with Amaranth. This is one of my favorite bands of all time, so I hope they can turn it around and actually recover from losing Henrik, but we'll see. Let's talk about Fifth Dawn, who have returned after a 4-year hiatus. Their brand new song called Return.
I thought that it was over, but then I saw you there, and what was it for?
Spoiler alert: Jake ate good this month.
Yep.
I did eat really good this month,
I just see,
especially
like,
at the beginning of
first
the
like
month.
7 songs, 6 of them are
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, there are 18 tracks. Jacob added 3, and I added 2, and the rest are all Jake and Justin. So
Yeah, I think
I
added
added
half
like
of the singles.
3.
1,
This month,
2, oh
singles.
yeah, 1. Yo, shout out Jake, who like you said, it really. We did. We added 3, 3, and 2, and Jake said, "Yep, I got
got
you."
you.
1, 2, 3.
I did have
Welcome.
like 2 or 3 more. I could
My
have
guy
added,
added 10.
but I just didn't want to overbear it because I knew we had a lot of albums. So
I just didn't like any other songs.
Me either.
Yeah, I even was a little bit conceited this month. I didn't add the 3 new Mothica songs to the playlist this month.
Oh man.
Anyway, Fifth Dawn have come back after a long hiatus. It's an Australian band, guaranteed banger alert.
Mhm.
Not as good as my favorite songs off of their debut album. Defying Symmetry is a masterpiece. Pressure and High Towers, I believe, is the other song that I really like from them. This is a solid return for Fifth Dawn, but something about the chorus doesn't hit as hard as I would have hoped in comparison to how powerful Defying Symmetry is. It feels like it's almost too flowy, and it's like the chorus just blends in with the verses, and it's hard for me to... I don't know, the build-up isn't fully there for each part of the song in the way that I would hope for it to. But beautiful vocals, as always. Returning, basically, like, you could have said that this was released like a year after that debut album, and I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Like, they did not miss a beat with this song. I more so added this song to the playlist because I'm just damn excited that this band is back, and I'm hoping for greater things in the future.
Yeah, this is so solid. I loved the way her vocals flowed in this. Honestly, like there were a lot of songs that got added that I didn't, or like that I added going through the playlist, and this was, I think, the first one that I hadn't heard yet that really blew me away. It's almost ethereal. The way her vocals sound at some point, very airy.
And
very
that's how
loud. I
she's
loved
always
it.
sounded. If you go back to that debut album, it is that for like 10 or 11 songs.
Duly noted. I'm gonna be doing that.
Yep.
Add to playlist. We ride.
I don't have too much more to add about this song. I'm excited. Hopefully, album 2023. If it reaches the same peaks of Defying Symmetry, I think Dark Horse top 10 contender. Maybe. Let's talk about something I feel a little bit more certain about, though. Letters Sent Home have dropped a brand new song, Fire.
Let go of everything that's not love. I feel the fire in me. I feel the fire that's gonna burn me to the ground. Let go of everything that you know.
And this band continues to make me sad.
They make you sad? Oh.
Yeah, the feels, bro. This band makes me feel things, bro. I have kind of made a realization, particularly with this song, and Letter Sent Home fall into the same category of Future Palace for me, of bands that talk about like depression and anxiety and like loneliness and all of that, but they have a positive spin to it of like, yeah, it sucks, but you're not stuck there. And I think that's what I truly appreciate about Future Palace and Letter Sent Home. The lyrics of this song there's two lines in particular that have stuck with me from this song. All that I've been through is only the prologue, and then you can save the world, but you need a change of heart. It's just, there's hope when you listen to this band for me, and that's not something that I get out of a lot of other post-hardcore bands in this kind of genre that are talking about these same topics.
Yeah, I don't really have too much more to add to that, to be honest. I mean, I know this is a band that you're very high on, that means a lot to you personally, and yeah, it's just solid. Definitely a band that you can always kind of count on to give you something that's good, right? Like I feel like
underrated as fuck hidden gem.
yeah, like what are they at?
Like
What is this?
5,000, I think.
3,200.
Get
Wow.
on it.
If you're not listening, what are you doing? Like, come on now, everybody. Pull it together. Go listen to Letters Sent Home. There is something for everybody, and they put out like what, 8 songs total, and they're
I actually
all really
realized
good.
earlier today they had an EP in 2018 that's no longer on Spotify or on YouTube anywhere. So we're gonna ignore that part. They have like they released an EP at the end of last year, which is like damn near perfect as far as I'm considered. So yeah, extremely underrated hidden gem. Be sure to give this band a listen, and I'm extremely excited for their EP dropping next month. All right, this is going to be the end of the Jake train to start out this month's episode.
Jake Train.
Choo choo! All time low. Dropped a brand new song called Sleepwalking.
Feel like I'm sleepwalking when you're gone. Medicaid till my brain goes numb. Like a train where your feet won't run. Stuck in place, paralyzed. I feel
This is my favorite song of theirs since Once in a Lifetime, which I believe is like one of their most recent songs. So maybe that's not saying as much as I thought it would.
In contrast, this is one of my least favorite songs from them.
Damn.
Real.
Really?
I'm with you, Justin.
Dude, I love this.
I don't think it's bad.
I love
It's
this.
my
not bad,
favorite
but
song.
it's not one of my favorite all-time low songs.
It's one of your favorite all-time high songs.
If that's the new band name, sure, go for it.
I don't know. There's something about like the synth 80s feel to this song that I adore. And the chorus is just extremely catchy and memorable to me. Just vibes all around. I don't know. I just have a good time when I listen to this song. I think the vocals are fantastic. You get that pitch shift at the end of the song, which I think is great. This is up there, like probably top 5 favorite all-time low song.
Oh, about all that.
I wouldn't say that, but
Keep in mind, I haven't heard anything pre-Wake Up Sunshine pretty much.
Yeah, I was about to say you
Me
haven't
neither,
heard any of their
so-
best albums.
not much.
Ooh, now see, yeah, I disagree. I think All Time Low is like Architects for me, where everything before their most recent album, well, I say that now, I forgot they dropped that Abomination we'll be talking about later. But like everything before the one album, didn't like. Everything after, I'm not a fan of. Wake Up Sunshine and Once in a Lifetime, phenomenal. And everything since then, I haven't really liked. There's also different like circumstances surrounding All Time Low that, like in my personal life, that have prevented me from enjoying them as much as I used to. So,
See, All Time Low is probably my teen band, like the band I was predominantly following back then. I still remember back when Don't Panic dropped. Like I would listen to that all the time. But since like Future Hearts dropped, I've not been as into them as I was growing up, and did like parts of Wake Up Sunshine, but this kind of solidifies that they've influenced more pop than the punk rock style that I was a fan of. So I don't know. I'm just off the all time low road at this point.
All right, Derek.
Oh, it's my turn. That's right.
American
American
turn.
Dream Machine have dropped their newest song, Dopamine, featuring Loveless.
Devastated, I'm so fucking jaded. Is this all that I know? Repeating, I can't release.
The Loveless feature guarantee.
Yeah.
That's
Just
true. That's
It-
true.
when was the last time we haven't had a recap with a Loveless feature? I mean, it feels like it's been like 3 or 4 months in a row at this point. And
it's
none
been
of
a
them have
long
missed.
time. Oh my goodness.
It's been a long time.
Sorry, aside, I just looked at their page and to see if it had fallen off any since, it's been a while since they dropped what it was called, like Middle of the Night and Happier Than Ever and all that. And they are almost at 2 million. They are 22K off of 2 million
Popping off.
monthly listeners.
We're here to talk about American Dream Machine, guys.
Yes, sir.
Um,
So this is a band that I've listened to before, and they're all right. They were
my,
I should say, they were all right.
They were on one of my top 10 lists. I don't remember what year their album dropped, but
2020. So yeah, wasn't super feeling it. I am now feeling it. I think that this is their best song without the Loveless feature. And then you get the Loveless feature, and like a great song becomes, at least for me, an amazing song. Like, look, I don't know Justin, do you know the vocalist name for American Dream Machine?
no,
Oh, okay. Well, whoever.
on my head.
Oh, they're from Virginia.
Are they?
Yeah, Nova.
Shit, nice.
Oh, it's Sean Adams. Okay, so shout out Sean
that makes
because the vocals on the chorus here and the little like vocal run he does on Dopamine is so nice.
I
And it
loved
contributes
the
so
start
well,
of the chorus
Julia.
where it says like devastated, I'm fucking jaded.
Mm-hmm.
That hits so hard.
Yeah, the vocal delivery and melodies all across this song are just so good.
They teased a lot of new music on their TikTok. I'll have to find the one that I listened to. But there's a teaser where he's got really good, like really well experienced vocal delivery on what I could only assume is the chorus, and you can definitely see it shines here on this song in particular. Loveless feature, there's no surprises with it. Julian knocks anything he touches out of the park,
Right.
except funnily enough his own stuff.
Oh.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Shots fired. Man down.
But otherwise, I think this song is good. American Dream Machine got a really good start going into what I assume is the new album's coming next year at some point. Since I knew that they were working on that most of 2021.
Good. Another 2023 album of the year contender.
Oh yeah, when I was away and you guys were having that conversation, I was listening to it. I was like, I don't think I really have any contenders. And then I remembered, oh yeah, Awaken I Am.
Shout out to Awaken I Am.
Yeah, hopefully getting something early next year.
Yeah, I don't have too
Give me
much
one
to
second, my
add.
headset just died.
I don't have too much to add to what you guys have already said. This is a great song.
His headset died and it's his song.
I can
taking
hear
over
you
for him.
still, fucker.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
damn.
I'm going to take over while he's fixing that because I like the song and I can talk about it. Burn Mona Lisa, a band who I believe it's their debut on the podcast, have put out their newest single, Glacier House.
This is their debut single.
This is a debut. Holy shit, they're at 763 monthly listeners. Okay, hold on. Now I need to
Okay,
find out. Is this a
hang on.
debut?
This
What's
is a
up?
debut single, and they're also touring with Paloma. The November 4th show that Paloma did, Burn Mona Lisa opened for them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Look, I don't know what it is, and I hate to say it because this. I hate to call every upcoming rock and post-hardcore band with like mathcore guitars Dance Gavin Dance, but something about this really reminds me of Dance Gavin
Dude.
Dance.
Dude, okay. When I was listening to this, I had it in the car and I didn't see like who added it or anything. I was like,
Uh-huh.
usually I can predict like, oh, this is a Derek song, this is a Jake song. I was like, this is definitely a Jake, or this is definitely a Derek song. And I look at it, it's like, Justin put this, or what the hell?
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of like if Idola met the Fall of Troy, met this little band called Migosh that I think broke up a couple years ago. It's so fucking good.
It's got
It's
such a good rhythm.
it's so rare for me. You know what it is? I think it's every like Dance Gavin Dance type band, like that swancore vibe that ends up working with oh fuck, what's his name? Chris Crummett. I always end up enjoying
I was actually about to say that they recorded an EP called Painfully Aware, which I believe this is what
Mhm.
this is gonna be off of, with Chris Crummett.
Well, that's why it sounds like Dance. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I was like,
Yeah,
the guitars.
I was about to mention that.
Okay, yeah.
I was like,
See,
yeah.
it's all coming together. The pieces are coming together. Look, I didn't like I don't know, Royal Coda and like Hail the Sun before they worked with Chris Crummett, and then they worked with Chris Crummett. Suddenly, bam, two of my favorite bands. Here, we're back with Burn Mona Lisa, who have worked with Chris Crummett and put out a fucking banger. And it's not just like the instrumentation. I like the way it sounds and the production, whatever. I mean, like it's fantastic, but the vocals, the vocal melody, the instrument sound, man, it's so good. It's like quintessential math rock. Love it. Like any up and coming like swancore, mathcore bands, go work with Chris Crummett, and I will have you on repeat and sing your praises to the high heavens. It's just such a guarantee. He's got it so down at this point that, and I mean, not to like undercut or undersell, you know, Burn Mona Lisa, who have put out one of the most impressive debut singles I've heard in a while. I can't believe it's a debut. But also just, yeah, this is so good. I love this.
I think it's also important to note this being math rock, and it's all cleans. There is no uncleans.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually, in my interpretation of math rock, usually has some form of uncleans into it to kind of change up that
Yeah.
sound a little bit. But this is entirely cleans, and I love the shift toward the middle of the song.
Mm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
paced so well. Everything about the This is
so
gonna be a
good.
band to keep your eye on.
They only have 700 monthly listeners.
I mean, it makes sense for it being a debut single. What doesn't make sense is that this is a debut single.
That's
how did you end up
yeah.
finding them?
I forget. I think someone shared the song in our
Well,
Discord.
didn't you say they were on like tour with Paloma or something?
They were on tour with Paloma, but that's not where I first heard them.
Oh, okay.
I heard the song first, then I recognized their name when they were touring.
Huh.
I feel like it was on Space and Travel on my subscriber
Oh, that
subscriptions.
makes sense. Shout out Space on Travel for giving us one good song every 10 uploads.
Every 20
Yeah,
uploads.
Yeah, I want to say more like every like 50, but
Can I get 100? Jacob, how about you tell us about this next one?
I've been waiting for this moment. Make Them Suffer have released their newest single, Doom Switch. And this comes with the new, I can't even call her clean vocalist, but the new I call her backup vocalist, Alex Reed.
Yes.
formerly
Hey.
of Drown This City.
It's like a dream come true.
Is this the biggest lineup change of the entire year?
I think
Ooh.
so. Because an entire band disbanded so that she could
Unless-
come over.
Unless
I
Dance
thought that
Gavin
was the
Dance,
reason, but
unless Dance Gavin Dance gets a new vocalist this year.
yeah, that's going to be interesting. We'll see.
Palisades.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, true. Look, last year, I said when I had Drown the City in my top 5 EPs of the year, I said this is what I wish Make Them Suffer would be, and then Make Them Suffer heard that and said, "All right, bet we're gonna get the vocalist from Drown This City and put her in the band." I don't know about you, I love her. I think she's a fantastic fit.
Yes.
It's like you could not find a more perfect fit, I feel like.
Yeah, especially because she does keyboards too, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
she's filling in fully for Booker.
Dude, she's got a guitar.
I didn't see. I haven't watched the video.
The video is fucking nuts, by the way. Definitely recommend checking it out.
Shit.
It's just a good ass metalcore video of just some guys like in a grungy, dark, wet garage, basically.
It's like the
Guaranteed.
last few Make Them Suffer music videos, except
Yeah.
they have like little animations on the screen this time.
Yeah. Production value. Anyway, this is really good. I don't know if it's better than Contraband.
Yeah, I
No.
don't think
This
it is,
This is one hell of a comeback song.
but it is so close.
It's growing on me. It doesn't have that initial wow factor that Contraband did for me, but it's been growing on me a lot. I love that little. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say the wow factor is Alex. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she's. Does it finally? Can I? Did you? Oh, wow. Okay, there it is. Did you listen to that Drown the City EP from last year?
I did.
Okay, just to make sure. Yeah. So for anybody listening who doesn't know, there's a whole other band that's got her clean vocals in it, and it translated perfectly over to this. Yeah. First round draft pick, Alex, coming in quick. I had to laugh at that little like kind of guitar riff down like halfway through the song because it's the most Make Them Suffer thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is it the one that sounds exactly like
Like,
Contraband?
yeah.
I feel like it's a purpose throwback.
It's gotta be. I mean, they've got a bunch of like that guitar tone. Like I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Make Them Suffer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Just I think a band at this point that can really do no wrong. I don't think I've ever heard a bad song from them ever. Granted, I've only heard like 3 albums. I'm sure there might be a couple early on, but yeah.
When I saw the
so good.
announcement for this,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, if they're gonna do it 3 years in a row, right? They're gonna do it like I had them as my number 2 single for 2 years in a row, and I think this song is worthy. We'll have to see in December,
Come December.
Ooh.
but yeah,
I want to make note of the breakdown after the second verse. There's like very electronicore breakdown kind of before like the
Mhm.
ultimate breakdown at the end. Dude,
Ultimate
that
breakdown.
that second breakdown after the chorus gave me life. I needed that. I have not heard a breakdown with electronics infused like that in a while, and it made me very happy.
We get to see it live.
Very exciting.
I'd assume anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's
this
There's no way they wouldn't.
when this song released, this was the moment that I realized, oh shit, we're actually meeting up. Like it's actually gonna happen. You know?
Yeah, they flicked the Doom switch, right? And
They
then-
flicked the Doom
Yeah.
switch. And in my head, the Doom switch turned on.
I'm thinking about a world where they don't play this song. They just only make her perform Booker's material. Like,
No.
kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I don't think
But
there's
yeah, I
too much more
could-
to add to this, unless Jacob, you have anything.
I was just gonna say I think she can do Courtney's part in Contraband too. So
Oh yeah, probably.
She does uncleans?
Yeah.
yeah, are you kidding me? You didn't notice
What?
that?
No.
Wait,
She
I
did
haven't seen the
unclean-
video. I haven't
she-
seen the video.
She did uncleans in old Drown This City songs.
That was her?
Yeah.
What the? Oh, yo! No, this
Wait,
is news
wait,
to me.
wait! You're just finding this out now?
Yeah, this is news to me.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? I thought they had an unclean vocalist.
Yeah, they
around the
did.
city.
They did, but she's always done
That's,
uncleans as
that's
well.
why I said at the beginning I can't really call her the clean vocalist.
Oh, I thought you just meant because she
She
also
does
played a
both.
keyboard.
No, she
Oh,
does both.
Fuck. Oh,
Yeah,
yo.
listen to watch the Stay Broken music video and the Make Them Suffer music video.
What
You'll
the
see.
Okay,
fuck?
Derek, when Sean says deserted homes and then she goes, but you know, she's that like the echo on in the choruses.
I did not know this, folks. I did not know this.
So how much better did the song just get?
Oh, I'm gonna have to revisit that. That's crazy. I for real didn't know that. That's weird. I can't believe you're telling. Like I've known about her the longest, and you guys are giving me new information. Why is it dark outside? Oh God, it's daylight saving.
Daylight savings.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, let's
Speaking of lineup changes to the
Yeah.
utmost degree, Jake, tell us about this next one.
I can't believe this band is not dead. Dream State have returned with a brand new song called Taunt Me. It has been 2 long years and 1 month since the release of Monsters. But they have returned. And they honestly have not missed much of a beat.
And Jake is very happy.
I'm very happy about it. Yeah, I thought this band was done for. I thought this band was dropping my favorite album of all time and then just dipping. Albeit, pretty much this is an entirely new lineup. I believe it's only their guitarist is the only remaining founding member at this point. And they have a new vocalist, a new drummer for this song. But this still is sick. Like, this still, somehow with almost an entirely new lineup, they have kept the essence of Dream State and what I associated the sound that they had with this new vocalist and this new lineup, and I love it. I've read a lot of comments of like, oh, she's just trying to imitate CJ's old vocal style, and I kind of get that, but at the same time, I feel like it is different enough. She has like a raspiness to her voice that's different, and I mean, yeah, people can kind of sound similar in some ways. Like, yeah, it's a female vocalist doing somewhat harsher vocals in a band that used to have a female vocalist that did somewhat harsher vocals.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I think people are going to always make that comparison. But I think just, like, on its own, this band has recovered from what seemed like a massive hole that they might not be able to climb out of. And I am extremely excited to have them back, and I'm extremely excited to hear more from them.
I think for me too, it's like, even if she is kind of imitating CJ's style, they're keeping the band name, which means they're keeping the band essence.
Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't see too much. I mean, I still think that this sounds a lot different than what I came to expect off of Primrose Path. Granted, of course, I haven't spent as much time with with it as you have, Jake, but
like that opening, I hear that opening riff, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the Dream State I remember. You know.
Yep. And as long as they've kept that bass line, I thought this was really good. The breakdown was a little weird, but it was weird in a good way.
Yeah. It had like the first part, it's like, I never sleep. Fuck, I can't remember. I didn't write it down. But it has that first part, and then it goes into like a second half of the breakdown where it's just instrumental, basically. I really enjoyed it. Solid chorus as well. As I said, I can't believe this band isn't dead, and I'm extremely excited to have them back. I don't have too much more to add.
Justin, I think that brings us to you.
Yeah, we got a new single from Take the Name titled Fool's Gold. How are we feeling about it?
It's bouncy.
This is solid. This is probably my favorite song since You Broke Me off of that EP last year. I haven't really loved anything I've heard since then. I know they had like a cover and a couple other songs in between, but nothing's really stuck with me. It is bouncy, and I think it has a really catchy chorus. It's a solid song, not something I went back to a ton, but I added it to my playlist, and whenever it came on, I never really complained because it's a good song.
Yeah, I also haven't gone back to anything from that EP, but this song in particular is really good. I like how short it is.
Yeah.
Only 3 minutes, and you get through it pretty quick.
It doesn't whatever it's called, doesn't overstay its welcome, and I think that serves really well for this style of song. I really, really like this.
It's really good. Like Jake, I haven't really listened to any of the singles prior, but if this is any definition of like their sound moving forward, definitely going to keep my eyes on them. I'm a little bit apprehensive saying, what they've got, because the last few singles have kind of fallen off and really didn't hit anything for me, but who knows? We'll see. They did a So Good cover.
That was good. That was a damn good cover. Damn. I need to go back and reappreciate this band.
Yeah, it's another solid hidden gem that I think, if you like kind of hard rock meets post-hardcore, somewhere in that vein, a little bit of pop punk influences as well. Definitely a smaller band worth your time.
Okay. And just like the song, the discussion's pretty short. Not much to say on it.
No, it's just a fucking good song. When the song's good, it's good.
Jacob, you're up next.
I'm up next, and Void of Vision have released another single. We haven't talked about them on the podcast, I don't think, but
I don't believe so.
they've released a single called Hell, 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 and it is part of Chronicles 3 Underworld, which comes out November 11th. And it's very possible that Void Division has 2 EPs in my top 5 EPs.
That's so real. That is so real. I didn't realize that this was the same band that dropped Hyper Days. Holy shit, what a glow up. This I remember exactly where I was listening to Hyper Days too. I was at my community college taking a piss. And I don't know why I remember
the
that.
first time you've said that.
No,
on
it was the first time I was listening to Chelsea Grin too. It was the same bathroom. Anyway, dude, I'm at the point now where it's like I hear a song and I'm like, yep, that's Void Division. And they have carved out this kind of niche little spot for themselves with the electronic core influences and like the drum and bass style drums.
Yes.
It's so good. I don't think they can go wrong at this point. Like Dominatrix is easily my favorite Void Division song off of any of the EPs or albums, and I think that like epitomizes what they're able to do. But everything off of Chronicles 1 and 2, especially Chronicles 2, have been so good.
Yeah.
I might have
And are they doing like a Mice and Men kind of thing, or
I don't know. I would maybe assume so, considering it's been 3 years since Hyper Days. So maybe. I mean, if not, it'll be fine. But I guess their thing says "Welcome to Underworld," so I don't know, like the whatever it's called. Why am I tripping? The album cover or album art cover. Fuck. So I've had 2 strokes in the past like 15 minutes, guys. We're on track for 3
Yeah.
by half an hour.
you're 6 feet in dopamine.
Exactly.
Oh,
But no, I
I
was just
love
gonna
that
say
line.
is that I think that it's going to be probably 3 separate ones if I had to guess, unless they name like the final thing Underworld. But I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I mean, we're either getting like 2 EPs of the year or 1 album of the year. Like, take your pick. So
Yeah.
This is the first time I've listened to this band. So I did not listen to Chronicles 1 or 2. When Chronicles 3 drops, I think I might go ahead and just listen to all 3 back to back to back.
ooh,
And well, I'll have to reevaluate my thoughts because I'm not fully convinced on this yet. But you guys are clearly there's clearly something special with this band to make you guys feel the way that you do. So
Yo, when we interviewed Saving Vice, he told us to check it out, and that's literally like that was my introduction to the band, and it's like the best thing. So
all right,
blame Tyler.
it's on the dock. It's on the dock. We'll
Yeah.
report back in our November recap with further thoughts from me.
at this point, there's just no band that sounds quite like them, and I think they deserve to be far bigger than they are. I mean, they're only at like 110,000 monthly listeners, which is like really fucked up. So, I could name a couple bigger bands that aren't doing nearly as significant or unique things as them, but I digress.
All right, Jake.
As everything unfolds, are back with a brand new song. Felt like home. Now, they haven't been gone for as long as Dream State, but I sure am glad to have this band back into my rotation. This song is such an earworm, dude. The chorus, it's just infectious. It's a live anthem. I can already see it, like the live shows with this song of like the crowd chanting back, "Oh, it's always felt like home to me." It's
Ooh.
It is so
Just-
catchy.
Yeah.
It's just, and the other thing is, the opening lines of this song of Charlie singing "Caught in the Moment," the vocal delivery on that instantly had me hooked on this song. I mean, that's like one line, and I already feel like there's been growth from album 1 to album 2 that's going to be dropping next year. And if this is just the first song in a line of incredible songs, I am well ready to place them in my top 10 albums of next year already. Just waiting for that album announcement date, and I'm gonna be there for it. So yeah, as everything unfolds, this band is incredible. Another female fronted band with harsh vocals, similar to Dream State, similar to Ad Infinitum, similar to Spirit Box, Conquered Divide, who we're going to be talking about shortly. Check them out if you like any of those bands.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because this is easily my favorite As Everything Unfolds song. Like, it's not even
Hell
close.
yeah. There is one thing that I do want to mention before we move on about this song, and it's the bridge into the final chorus. That is such a breakdown tease. You hear the like backing harsh vocals, and like the drums have that kind of like breakdown build up beat to them, and you think it's coming, and then it just transitions back into the chorus with nothing. And I'm like, I've listened to this song enough to where it's like, yeah, that's fine, I like it, it's good, but damn, there was a good breakdown opportunity there. And I know they've had sick breakdowns in the past, so they very well could have done one. But admittedly, I don't like, this song is more of a live anthem anyway. This song might not need it. I just feel like if the song was going to have a breakdown, you had the build up for it. If it's not going to have the breakdown, the bridge makes it seem like there's going to be a breakdown a little too much. If that makes sense. That's like my one very minor nitpick with the song. The song's been on repeat ever since it came out. It's my favorite song in the back half of the month, pretty much. So
I can tell you one song that has a very fucking sick breakdown, and that's this new song from Nevertel, Modified.
I gotta get my thoughts out of the way very quickly, because
Okay.
unfortunately, As Everything Unfolds took up all of my listening time, and I did not spend nearly enough time with this one.
Oh, I'm disappointed. in you.
criminal.
Yeah,
I'm
you
disappointed in
fucked
myself
up.
too. I'm disappointed in myself too.
This, sorry, Dion. I was considering it being my, like, a top 3 Nevertel song.
Oh, this is the best. This is the
I'm
best.
gonna be honest, folks. It is the best Nevertel song.
It is the best.
It surpassed New Friend and All Good. It's made its way to number 1. This is just... This, to me, feels like the epitome of a Nevertel song. Right? Like, it's got everything. It's got the unclean, it's got the catchy flowy choruses, it's got the rap verses, and they're all executed so fucking well. It's unreal. It's the best parts of all of my favorite songs of theirs put together into
Yes,
one.
that is such a good way to put it.
Like,
It's fascinating too, because usually when a lot of bands come off of an album, they usually get like some sort of sound change, or they usually differentiate something about their sound. But no, this is an evolution of the previous songs. Like I can hear elements of All Good in here with the chorus. Nowhere Verse has kind of a similar structure where Raul just fucking goes nuts in the verses, and it works so well. This also could fit on Everything in My Mind with just how different it is.
yeah.
And the message of trying to change to fit someone's perception of you and whatnot. And I mentioned it earlier, but fuck that breakdown.
It's a nasty breakdown. I have only listened to this song a handful of times because I'm stupid. But
Yeah, at least he understands it. At least he recognizes it.
This is much better than like a lot of their songs. Personally, I still have personal attachment to Dark Cloud, so that's still kind of my favorite. But this is making clear headway, and this is easily my favorite single of the month.
yeah, this band is not going to top Know My Loneliness for me. But I may be stupid for only listening to this song a handful of times this month, but this is a really good song, and I need to listen to it more. And I'm going to try and force myself to listen to it more, to give it the respect it deserves. This is like, the way you guys are talking about it, I don't feel justified in being the one to say this, but this feels like Nevertel's Mega Evolution. It's like they went from like
Mega Nevertel.
They went from like a
God.
what's a good Pokemon that like mega evolves? I don't fucking know. Like they went from okay,
Kangaskhan.
they went from a
Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan to mega Kangaskhan with this release.
Now, which one's a child? Which one's like in the little pocket? And which one comes out?
I think
they got
we
my
need-
boy Raul in the pouch, bro. Get him out. Get him out.
I think we need a Nevertel
No, he
After Hours
comes
Part
out.
2 to answer this question.
Absolutely.
We need the lore.
Oh,
God damn it.
I
Move
think
on.
their lyricism vastly improved in this too. Like, I'm reading this and it's so much more mature than stuff on the last album.
I
And,
would say yes, but I feel like it's more
It's
so
same-
because it's consistent.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Mm.
there's different moments in every Nevertel song prior where they have like a verse or a specific line that like elevates the lyrics
Yeah.
like a
This
7 to
throughout the whole
10.
song.
And this is throughout the entire song. It's really good.
I want to point out, speaking of lyrics, I want to point out the shift in the second verse where it kind of keeps that rhythm, and then the tone shifts, so the guitars and the drums get heavier and more pronounced when Raul starts on Bottled Up, Hard to Manage, Sick of It,
Mm.
Everybody, because nobody's understanding. I want to talk because I know what they be saying, and then just goes into the pre-chorus, and it's just so good. Nevertel, if you put it on the album next year, that's 2023 album of the year. I'm convinced.
Okay.
Facts.
I didn't need much convincing, but there you go.
Is this
I
where,
wonder-
is this the part where Justin backtracks?
Yeah, this is the part where Justin
Yeah.
backtracks.
I wonder if this is that. Remember when we did the after hours with them and they said they had a demo that they had been like really listening to a lot in the car? I always wondered if this is that.
So they might have been. There also, I think there was a Twitch saga where they were like making the song. and
Okay.
I don't recall if this was it. I'll have to go back and look, but I feel like that was another thing where it was pretty recent to where close enough where they would release it, but I don't know. Judging by the echoing applause for this that I've seen, I don't think that's the case. I think this was just a surprise release.
I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, Jacob.
The Plot and You have released a new single called Divide.
They'll entertain you, control the ways to. Can it sustain through generations?
Am I crazy or is this one of their best songs?
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I can see it. I still like stuff off Dispose more. But I can see where Jake's coming from.
Landon
Jake-
screaming, "They might kill you," and "I can't fucking take it" into the breakdown riffs of this song. God, I fucking love it. Landon might be screaming, "I can't fucking take it." I will fucking take it. I will take it and let it run through my ears and make me happy. Because god damn, I love this song. This is I don't have like a very strict ranking of my favorite plot songs. Like generally, it's just all been solid for the most part. I could no, I don't think I could argue this is my favorite. I don't know what my favorite song is, but it's up there. Divide is very much up there for me. I really clicked with this immediately, whereas a lot of their other songs have taken me some time to really get into. This one just worked. Just made sense to me. This band is very complicated sometimes, but this one connected all the right dots for me.
Derek? How do
This
you feel?
is. I don't know if I would say this is one of my favorite plot songs, but I think that this blows a lot of Swan Song out of the water.
Mhm.
I would take this over most of Swan Song, bar my like 3 favorites. Obviously it's not Dispose because nothing will ever be Dispose. But you know, I leave it to Plot to always consistently put out good music. Like I don't think they've missed in the past like 7 years. You know, like I really think, because what are they at now? God, tell me they're above like 2 million
2
on
million.
Spotify.
2 million. I just
Thank
saw.
God.
I got an email the other
Damn.
day saying they hit 2 million.
Shit, and yeah, Feel Nothing at 133,000. Honestly, so deserved. And I guess the Divide maybe capitalizing off of some of that success. I hope that they get big. I mean, they've got the facilities to do it.
They are pretty big already.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, consistently big, you know? I mean, like, obviously they're popular like, within the scene, but
Hmm.
I want to see more songs crossing that 10 million mark, that 20 million mark. You know, I think the closest is probably Disposable Fix, right? At almost 9 million. Let me make sure. Yeah. I want to see that at 10 million. I want to see the one you loved at 10 million. 'Cause it deserves to be. More stuff off Swan Song. I think an album cycle or two from now, we're going to be looking at a Plotting Youth that is starting to sell out bigger venues and headline. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm
I
hoping.
mean, I'm seeing them this month, so.
You got to let me know how Divide is.
Oh,
I wonder if that'll change. I wonder if that'll like set up there for you. Like you'll see it live and it'll make sense. I love when that happens.
I feel
That's
like. Have you heard Crows by Plot?
I've
The
listened to
riff
their. What's up?
The riff reminds me so much of Crows at the beginning.
I haven't listened to their old albums in like 3 years. I'm missing
It's
out.
it's not on any album. It's just a standalone single.
Oh, well, I also have not listened to that, so shit, I need to. I'll do that right now. Unrelated.
Yeah, I think this is a good blend of like, I wouldn't even say it's like disposed sounding. It's more Swan Song sounding.
Yeah.
And it's like a good blend of, yes, like the Crows sound that you don't you get like an older Plot, I guess, but I
Mhm.
think Crows is the best example. And yeah, that nice blend, and I think they did it really well in this song.
Speaking of bands that are making really, really good songs, Conquer Divide have dropped their newest single, Paralyzed.
Out is if I go straight through it now. I'm just getting upgraded. I'm breaking down and I need some room.
Off an upcoming album, unnamed, as far as I know.
I know I said Ad Infinitum are the front runners for AOTY 2023, right?
Let's be
But-
real.
Backtracking.
Let's
again.
be real. Let's be real. That's only because Ad Infinitum have announced the date. Conquer Divide are on track for that AOTY spot. They just haven't announced the date yet.
I am ready to declare Chiarelli Castillo as my favorite female vocalist in the scene.
Oh, whoa.
I'm doing it. I'm putting that on the table.
Honestly, I don't know if I can say favorite, but like top 5, top 3, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if there is somebody who can sound so as consistently, I want to say pure, and not like lyricism wise, but her voice is so crisp and clear, and I at this point don't think there's anybody's voice, or at least any female front of it. She's probably a top 5 vocalist or clean vocalist in the scene for me at this point. Easily my favorite female vocalist. Yeah, this is just another really, really, really good Conquer Divide song, which joins the rest of their discography of really, really, really good Conquer Divide songs. I think this has to be the album opener, doesn't it? There's no way it's not.
I haven't thought about that at all.
That was my first thought when I heard this. This has got to be the album opener. I want it to be.
I have some lyrics from this song I wanted to pull out, which kind of
Yes.
back that up. The second verse, how the hell did I wind up here? Somewhere between all I know and fear. Caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. My demons are closer than they appear. Which, God, that is just such good songwriting, because that's just like actually how rearview mirrors work, or like car mirrors work. That things are like closer than they actually are, or whatever. I haven't driven in a while. I don't have a car right now. But, God, it's just... This band is incredible. The crazy thing for me is, I think this is the weakest song since Chemicals, and it's still fucking incredible.
No, I think this is better than Atonement.
For me, I'm saying messy, paralyzed, atonement, chemicals. The chemicals is still like an 8.5 on 10 for me, so I'm thinking about album of the year.
Yeah. But you will not I cannot make a choice between atonement and chemicals as which one is better, because I will literally flip a coin and say, yeah, that one's the right one on any given day of the week, basically. And then messy and paralyzed are like basically neck and neck right behind them, so it's like, what the fuck can't this band do?
Also, if this is the album art, I am so happy. I love blue and red as like a contrast with each other, and the way it's got the girl that looks
Those
like
are the
she's gonna
general
collide with
colors
the
they've been
sky.
going with. Like the messy album art was the blue and red as well.
Yeah,
So the last thing that I really want to say on this song, well, it's not about the song actually. Announce the damn album, cowards.
exactly. We need it as soon as humanly possible.
I don't
Inject it
care
straight
if
into my
it's
veins.
like the Future Palace situation where it's like, you're really gonna make me wait 7 months for that album to come out? I will wait 7 months. I will wait longer than 7 months for this album if I need to.
Right?
Drop that shit into my top 10 of the next year, free. Like, I don't need to say anything more.
I think at this point I'm fine waiting because it's been so long since Chemicals that like at this point, as long as the album comes, I don't care when. You know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like, as long as this band doesn't disband before dropping the album, give it to me.
Why would you even do that? Why would you say that? Why-
Because Dream State did it.
Just because one of your favorite bands did that to you doesn't mean they have to do it to me.
They don't have to do it to me again. I've already dealt with enough.
I can't believe that he really almost manifested that. I had to
Nope,
step in.
Hell no.
I had to step in. Oh man.
I will do anything in my power to not manifest that. I will do anything in my power to manifest the opposite of that. Okay, let's move on to this last song of the month. Or last single.
It's what Derek is doing right now.
Man.
Real?
Real? We need pics?
Dayseeker have dropped the final single from their upcoming album, Dark Sun, Crying While You're Dancing.
I guess you got what you want. I guess it's not enough. Crying while you're dancing.
Except the album's already out, but that's for our November recap next month.
Yeah.
So for now, let's just talk about this absolute heartbreaker of a song. This band knows how to pull at your heartstrings.
I don't really have much to say. I love it.
See, this I hate when this happens where we have to talk about a single and we've already heard the album because it's so hard to like
Say
not
anything.
talk about it, right? Like, or not talk about the album. Like, I want to talk, oh yeah, in the context of the album, this and that, da, 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 da. Because I didn't listen to this before the album dropped.
I'm the
So
only one
I-
that listened to it before the album dropped. And as soon as I heard it, I'm like, you guys all made the right choice.
Justin, didn't you listen to it?
I also held off on it.
Oh, why did I think you did? I'm tripping.
I listened
Yeah.
to a teaser, but that's it.
Okay, at this point, we can't really advertise this song. Instead, we're gonna advertise the album. Go listen to the album; it's really good.
Hear our full thoughts on it next month. And a few
Yeah,
months from now.
exactly. This fits the album very well. It's Dayseeker doing Heartwave
Dayseeker
things ish, but also Dayseeker things, and it works so well.
I just need to mention a specific vocal delivery in the chorus of I guess you got what you want. I guess it's not enough.
Mhm.
The extended delivery on I guess it's not enough and the power that Rory sings that line. God damn, dude. I don't know if they're going to be playing this one live on the tour of the
I'd
Conquered
imagine.
Jungle. I don't know if
Surely.
they will, because I feel like the other three singles are like better live songs given like the crowd. But God, if they play this song live, oh dude, it's gonna
Well,
be
what-
so good.
Derek and I are
What-
gonna dance.
What they did for Sleep Talk was they did all the singles, including Drunk, and Drunk was different than the
Mhm.
singles. So I feel
Okay.
like that's what they're gonna do is the singles, maybe throw in a couple songs off Sleep Talk, maybe an older song, because I think Derek was
Probably
suggesting that.
Vultures.
Vultures, yeah, maybe. You give me a live version of 6 Feet Under, we're soaring.
How about that guitar solo in this song?
Oh,
man?
dude.
Very good.
So
I know
good.
Novelists released an album last month, but like this solo,
I forgot about it.
this
real.
Forgot about
solo,
the solo, or you forgot about the Novelist album?
The Novelist album.
Okay, just making
it's
sure.
like I feel like Novelist's identity is metalcore with guitar solos, yet Dayseeker just randomly
isn't
decides to
metalcore,
do.
though.
It's not metalcore. It's not. This song is not metalcore.
If you squint, maybe.
I feel like this solo is like just the feels, the vibes that this solo brings, like way more impactful than anything that Novelist album made me feel.
I need a reprised version of this that's just like really heavy, like metalcore, and it's crying while you're moshing. That's what
Oh
I
my
need.
god.
I need the Dayseeker Deluxe Redux. That's what I need. Not to say that the album, spoiler alert, it's a little soft, but it's good soft. It's never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Can we move on?
Yeah, Jake will
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit.
All right, that's all our singles.
That's all our
And
singles. That's the least
was-
amount of singles we've talked about like all year, I'm pretty sure.
We were also very reserved on singles. 'cause
Good job, us. I'm giving us a round of applause.
You guys are happy.
I'm looking
I
at
already
the
know my
albums-
mic's not gonna pick it up, so
I'm looking
Well,
at
that's
the
why I put
albums
my
we've
hands
got.
right next to my mic. Justin's trying to do the transition.
Poor
No, I
fucking
was
guys.
just saying. I
The
was
mic
just
got
saying.
clapped on.
I was just saying. I'm looking at all the albums. And I'm like, it doesn't feel much different than another episode, but it's just because
Facts.
we're very restrictive on singles.
Oh
so.
god, there's so many.
There's a lot of albums, so let's get right into it. We got an EP, the only one we're going to be talking about this month, and it is from Phrenia. Their EP Changes. This EP is 3 Hungarian songs that are completely rewritten for English. So nothing left.
That's cool.
Nothing Left and Fading Away were on the previous album. They were titled Kure Vault was Fading Away, and Menem was Nothing Left. And then Eternity was from their 2018 EP, I believe. That was called Adultin. I looked at all these before
Interesting.
coming in this. This EP good.
I mean,
I-
yeah,
This EP's so
Phrenia-
good.
Phrenia just makes like consistently solid material at this point. I only had to listen to that album last year to be convinced of it. I might not love everything on there, but it's just good. It's just good. I didn't
Wait,
spend
so-
that much time with it, but it's definitely worth a listen for anyone that's into like electronic infused post-hardcore.
This is just translated? Is that what you're telling me?
It is completely rewritten. So the reason I didn't
Oh.
say translated is because Kude Vault translates to become fog and not fading away, but fading away
Okay.
is the new title of the song.
Yeah.
And what I believe what ended up happening was they took elements from those songs and rewrote them to fit a EP, because you can definitely tell there's a theme going on with these 3 songs in particular. Nothing Left, where it's like that kind of hopelessness, kind of sinking in depression, almost Eternity, feeling like what you're stuck in is lasting a lifetime and not just able to get out of it. And then Fading Away is kind of more of a positive nature, where in the first verse of the song is picking up the pieces. Are we alone in this darkness? A shattered window is all I see as the night falls. So I think that's my personal opinion on this EP. I haven't really seen any other mention
That's-
of how it was structured, but
That's such a cool like concept, honestly. I don't
And it
think I've
fit-
ever seen anything like that.
and it fits. Like fuck, I was blown away the first time I listened to Eternity. I didn't listen to the original track just because I didn't listen to a lot of that EP when that came out. But man, Eternity is so good. I love the end where it gets very almost orchestral and anthemic. It's just such a sweet sound, and then Fading Away is just phenomenal. I adored Coup de Vault, just instrumentally alone on the album, but Fading Away as it's rewritten now and like in the context of the entire EP as a whole, man, it's so good. It's such a good EP. The only gripes I would have with it is there's a lot of other Hungarian songs, and I feel like they could have added a little bit more to the EP to add a little bit more heft to it. But 3 songs, when in reality we really shouldn't have been getting anything from them because they're just off of an album cycle. It's like, I can't really complain.
Yeah, I'm definitely not complaining. My favorite song here is Nothing Left. That opening riff at the start is fantastic. And as I said, I
Just
didn't
about to say.
I didn't spend that much time with this EP or these songs in general, just due to how much crazy shit there was releasing this month. But it's just solid material. I wish I had more to say, but I think Justin's kind of wrapped up everything pretty nicely.
All right, Jacob, Derek, it's your time.
Take it away.
Jacob, as always, I'm gonna let you take this one
Why me? You know,
because I've been listening to Guardin for like 6 fucking years at this point. Like I've
Okay,
had my fill.
okay.
He's new to you. I get to let you take the reins.
Okay. Guardin has released his newest album and the third in the trilogy, Creatures Together.
Named after his late cat Creature, who I believe passed away right before Part 2 released. Creature and Creature Part 2, easily 2 of my favorite EPs of all time. I mean, like, just uncontested. So, very high expectations coming into this, especially with the singles that we got. It was Jetlag, Perfect, and Geronimo. All of which are fucking fantastic. I don't even want to know how many combined plays you've got on them because you've really taken it and ran with it.
I did a lot in the beginning of the month, but I actually haven't been. I've been listening to other stuff. There's some particular songs on this that I have like saved, but we'll talk about that.
Real quick, what is your favorite song on here? Is it still Perfect?
It's Homebound.
Okay, good pick. I think that's my number 2. Something about Eugene has stuck with me so strongly, and I think it's about missing friends. At least my interpretation of it is that it's about like having missed the opportunity to connect with a close friend who is now, they've moved away, you don't have contact with them anymore, and it's like, I wish I would have taken the time to speak with you before you left, type of thing, and make contact and keep that friendship going, because now you're not a part of my life anymore, and I miss that. I had a friend in high school, my senior year, who I missed out on the opportunity to hang out with him, and he drove into a traffic light and died the day after.
Oh.
And he'd like asked me to hang out or whatever, and I couldn't because I was busy, and like I regretted that I didn't ever since. And Eugene to me like really stuck with me as kind of like I could kind of project that experience onto that song. And I think that's kind of a common theme across, for me, all of Guardin's music, right? Like there's a reason that he's probably my favorite solo artist of all time, but also across the album too, that everything is so personal and honest, especially on songs like Geronimo and Homebound, where it's hard not to find meaning in them or find a place for you to insert yourself into the song, because he's just somebody going through life and the same sort of, early mid-20s experiences as the rest of us, that then puts it pen to paper
sonically fantastic. It's hard not to love this whole album for me. I mean, even going into something it's like, okay, well, it's Guardin, like I'm gonna love the album, but just this in particular, I found that I was scared when he cut 2 tracks and it was only gonna be like 21 minutes. But I don't think it needs to be any longer. I don't know if I would want it to be. I don't know, like how are you feeling? Because it's supposed to be 12 tracks, about half an hour.
I don't know. See, I feel like it's weird because it doesn't feel like an album almost. And what I mean by that is, but like, it honestly kind of feels like a bunch of singles, and like you do have the opener and the closer. Like those are they both seem like opener closer tracks, but I feel like Guardin, for me at least, is a singles artist. So when I listen to him, it's more like I like this song, and put it into a playlist with a bunch of his other songs. And I don't really care about the order of it, and I think Derek died. He lost his Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my PC sounded like it was gonna fly. That was fucking weird. I haven't heard that. The CPU shot from like 20 to 100%. It went whoa, and I was like, I thought I was witnessing the death of my computer in real time. Sorry about that, everybody. That's on me.
Well, it's not on you actually, but that's besides the point.
It's on my dad. I can't wait to move out so nobody unplugs my router.
Anyway, Guardin. Get back on track, fellas. I'm gonna
So,
sit back
yeah,
and
I
relax.
Derek was asking about the runtime, right? So
Yeah, like since he cut 2 songs from the album, like how are you feeling? Do you wish it was longer? Are you fine with the 10 tracks as is?
See, I'm not in the vein where I think I wish it was longer. To me, I feel that like Guardin is more like a singles artist for me kind of thing, where I just like particular songs of his. I don't. That's like because that's how I've listened to him until now, basically. And
Yeah.
the long story short EP, even that feels like 3 singles, but yeah. So cutting it doesn't really bother me because the way I listen to this album, other than like the first 2 weeks, is I take the singles I like, put it in a playlist, and that's how I will listen to it. It almost kind of takes I don't know. I feel like I'm being harsh here, but I almost like dislike the album like that.
Okay.
Him releasing as an album as opposed to singles.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that I think is really interesting too, is that like there was an EP in 2018 called Outsider, which like if it were an album would be one of my favorite albums of all time. But it's considered an EP and it's longer than this is. So that's like kind of where it feels like a little bit of a disconnect and maybe like consistency. I mean, it's a weird like nitpicky thing but I don't know. I think that this I get why Outsider was an EP, and I think that this works well as an album, even if it is only that 22-minute runtime. I think we're getting the 2 tracks that were missing released as singles, because I think they were finished and he decided to take them off a week before. It'll be interesting to see, because I know that like Guardin as an artist is very particular and like a perfectionist when it comes to his music, and I'm going to trust that was the right choice type of thing. And I'm sure it'll make sense by the time it comes in, or by the time we get those other 2 singles. Like, okay, yeah, I see why I took them off type of thing.
Yeah, because we have the old order, right? We have that track listing order.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Guardin, Creatures, Together, track list. Let me see if I can get oh no, this is the updated one. No, I don't know where the old one is.
I feel like there's a lot of songs on this album that like trigger like different things for me, like 321 Nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Perfect. Same with Homebound. And then there's other ones that trigger like darker feelings of like sadness and depression, like Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best example. Geronimo slightly. Yeah, and I
Well-
feel like what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that I think to me that goes back to my feeling about him that he's just a down to earth, honest guy making
Yeah.
music. It's so relatable. Like, and that's why I'm happy to find so much in each of these songs. I want to point out lyrics, but it's hard for me to because I guess the way that I've really consumed this album, I haven't listened to any of these songs by themselves. I have sat down and listened to this album front to back every single time I want to hear any of these outside
Except
of
for the
maybe
singles.
Eugene. Well, yeah, and the singles too, but and so for me, I haven't grown attached again outside of Eugene to any of the individual songs as much as I have grown attached to the album as a whole and the experience and the way that it makes me feel. So I could be listening to the album together and being like, front to back saying, "Oh, yes, I really like this lyric at this point in the album and at this point in the song with everything else around it because it makes sense and I can relate to it." And then you can ask me to say, "Okay, well, what song is it on?" I'm like, "I have no fucking idea." Which is weird. I've never had that happen to me with an album before. And I think it's just because I think that this works so well as a finalized album and experience that, I mean, kind of tying back to the runtime thing, like, I'm glad he cut those 2 tracks because this is perfect to me. This is as much
Pun intended.
late. Yeah. Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that. It's as much a on my way to work in the morning album as it is a late night nostalgia reminiscing album, as much as it is I got off work and I'm on my way home, or it's the evening and I'm in my own head. Like, that's the thing with Guardin's music for me in this album in particular, is that it really just feels like it scratches every part of my brain, not only in terms of like sonically, but lyrically, different themes, the way that everything ties together.
Mhm.
Honestly, and it feels weird to say about a 22-minute album because, spoiler alert, like 10 tracks, 22 minutes, because, the spoiler alert for later this year, there's a shorter album that is making my top 10. And one of my gripes with it is that I wish it were longer, and it's still longer than this is. And to me, that's a testament to the artistry of Guardin and how much he's able to condense and put into something that's so short. Like, to me, even if it doesn't have the runtime, this has the content of like a 40-minute album type of thing. Like, I would feel just as satisfied listening to this as I would a 40-minute album from another artist with the same themes.
Yeah.
I don't have another artist that can do that. Nobody in the same genre. I think maybe the person that comes closest is Sad Eyes, but even then, like, this, to me, there's nobody doing it like Guardin. I will not hear another album like this year. It's just not happening. And I'm perfectly okay with that because I love that I've got an artist like this that can fill that niche for me. I don't want anybody else to sound like him. I want to have Guardin's music and have it be so uniquely special to me in the way that this is. I mean, I think I'm at like 70 or 80 saved songs of his at this point, and probably going to be my number 1 artist on Spotify at the end of the year. Like, let's, if I'm just being super real, like, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah. And I feel like it's more of a Guardin review than an album review for me, but I think it's because my high points on this album are more so the album as a cohesive whole rather than individual moments on the album. So I have less to point out and more praises to sing about how well everything works together. Like, on a song by song basis, again, like I said, I could tell you what all of them sound like, but they all have the same sort of experience for me because I've listened to the album together. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is a really, 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 really fucking good album. And nobody else, I don't think there's another artist in music right now that could pull this off the same way that Guardin did. I love this.
I do want to say, yeah, I guess I wanted to ask you, what songs don't you have saved? Like, which ones haven't stuck with you? Because I know you said you playlisted some.
definitely For a Reason.
To me,
Uh,
okay, so sorry. Can I say something real quick because that's
Yeah.
really interesting to me. That to me, For a Reason, is my least favorite song on the album, and
Yep.
it is the perfect bow on top of it all
No,
because of the
I
lyrics.
agree with the first part.
I think it is for me. It's like, I guess I'll drop this shit in October type of thing. That it's kind of like the For a Reason. At least my interpretation of it is that he pushed the album back for a reason because he didn't feel it was right, and it's kind of a view into his mind and the creative process of, okay, I'm pushing it back for a reason. I guess I can drop this shit in October, which I think is like a lyric halfway through,
Yeah.
and just this honest introspection that I feel like sonically it's my least favorite song on the album. But lyrically, I think it's probably the song on the album that sells me on the identity of this the most. Which is like this weird dichotomy, but I love it. And I didn't like it at all the first time I listened to it. I didn't get it. And the more I listened to the album and the more I understood, the more I liked it. And so I say it's my least favorite, but I think that every song on this album is a 10 out of 10. Can't say that about very many other albums this year.
I also don't have 3-2-1 saved just because I feel like you need the context of the album. That's like the single song that I feel like needs the context of the album. But yeah, I wanted to highlight the part in the end of Homebound where he's like, I wrote this comeback while you were alive, and then he just rambles on. It's like rhyming random shit, and it's just like it's like really random, but it works so well.
Right? That's everything for me on this album. The runtimes of the songs, different moments on here. It shouldn't work some of the time, but it does. And it works really, really well. And I just, I didn't know what really to expect from the rest of the songs based on the singles. Because they all sounded the same, but they also sounded so different. And then we get to the album and you have things like On the Wall and Eugene that really lean into the production of a lot of the like vocals of the back thing. That second half of On the Wall is probably my favorite moment on here. I gotta say, when it starts that kind of punchy in and out beat in the background, I love it. God, I fucking love this album. I think I just talked myself into making this album of the year. I think I may have just in the span of the past. Well, I guess it took longer because my internet went out. But like, I think I just, talked myself into album of the year. Anyway,
All right.
The only comment I have to make on this, since I didn't listen to all of it, I only listened to the singles. I feel like you guys both love this album, but for entirely different reasons, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think I'm much more focused on the album as a whole. I have not listened to a single song off this album, like not in the context of the album at all.
Except singles.
Except
I feel like Jacob's just been the complete opposite for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's how I listen to him, right? That's how I've been like he releases tons and tons of singles.
Yeah. Well, and I guess too, it depends on when you started listening to him too, because you're only used to the singles because you listened to him
Since December.
after he, right? Exactly. So
Actually-
he doesn't drop anything for you.
You know what? I just realized I am because my first introduction was that EP. I can't the one where he wrote it in the treehouse. I can't remember.
I
what the
thought
name of it is,
I
though.
thought your introduction to it was Bad Luck.
No. There was that EP.
Things Could Be Worse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you heard it and said it sounded like Eden, and then it went from there. it's all
Yeah.
been.
And then the spiral happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I've been listening for forever, and I've
gone like full 180 basically.
yeah.
Anyways, we should probably move on.
Yeah. Shout out Guardin. This album is phenomenal. We're gonna be hearing about it later this year, at least once. Time to move it up on my dock. Jacob, would you like to take us to this next one?
We got another short album. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's called an album, but Boston Manor have released Datura. I hope I said that right.
Cause I keep waking up with this pain in my lungs. Everything fucking hurts and I don't want this.
If you said it wrong, I can't correct you. So
Right.
I don't even know what Datura means.
it's a great question. If
I
only
remember
there
that.
was a place to look it up.
Datura.
All
All right. It's a genus of 9 species of highly poisonous vespertine flowering plants. It's a type of nightshade.
What?
They're called Jimson weeds. What a stupid name. Oh, wait. Hold on. They've got some
Oh.
cool alternate names. Moonflower, Devil's Weed. Yo, that goes crazy. And Hell's Bells. Hold on. I'm going to drop a picture of a Datura in chat. I got
How
you.
did we get here?
Don't worry. Don't
This
worry,
is
my
like
brother.
the most off topic.
Bam. That is a Datura.
Okay. It's obviously some symbolism that I haven't figured out
Yeah,
yet.
no
but,
idea.
This album, in some parts, reminds me a lot of Welcome to the Neighborhood, and I think that's why I like it.
So I didn't listen to this. What you're telling me is that I need to get around to listening to it.
It's not as good as Welcome to the Neighborhood.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be real here.
But it's got a really long intro in Datura and a very long outro in Inertia, but the first half of Inertia fucking slaps. It literally could fit on Welcome to the Neighborhood, any song. Like it's like a top 5 Boston Manor song, I'd say.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
I
That
found
is high
Inertia
praise.
to be really underwhelming, personally.
Well, see, I said the first half. The back half of it
no,
is
even the first half of it. I just found this song as a
Interesting.
whole to be underwhelming.
And
My
you
two
haven't heard
favorites on
Welcome to
here
the Neighborhood.
are Foxglove and Crocus. Don't ask me to tell you anything about Crocus. I heard it the day it released and haven't listened to it since. Foxglove is the only song that's really stuck with me, though. Just a super catchy chorus on what comes around goes around, whatever. It's another Boston Manor release that I'm kind of just mostly indifferent to.
I think my second favorite song is Floodlights on the Square. You get some of those vocal techniques, that's the word. Man, I'm just gonna keep saying it, but that you get on Welcome to the Neighborhood that make me, oh god, that album is so good. Yeah, I think this is it's a little bit heavier than Welcome to the Neighborhood, but it still has some of those still has some of those sounds.
You've got me intrigued. I
Intrigued, but not
complete-
sold.
No, I'm sold. I'll listen to it. I mean, I wanted to anyway. That's the thing with Boston Manor is that ever since they dropped Welcome to the Neighborhood, I've wanted something like it because I truly don't think there's another band out there that has since replicated that sound
No.
except maybe Nothing But Thieves. That
I haven't heard them, so
their 2020 album is the closest thing I found to Welcome to the Neighborhood. And I can't remember what it's called. I think it might be This Is the End. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll have to say that I will always now listen to every new Boston Manor release to find something that is like some semblance of the greatness it is Welcome to the Neighborhood. So if you're telling me right now that there are elements of that on here, it's done. Like it's I'm sold.
I
It's
will
over.
say this album is very atmospheric.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's a lot of like, I wouldn't call it like dead air, but there's a lot of like ambience in this album. Like Shelter from the Rain, I'm pretty sure like half that song is just rainfall with like people talking in the background. I don't know. It almost, this is actually a really good comparison. Just dawned on me now. It kind of reminds me of Music to Listen To
Oh, okay.
by Bring Me. In those spots where it's very atmospheric, it almost reminds me of that.
Now I'm gonna super have to listen to it.
So Jake is the only one who has listened to this as well.
Yeah.
Jake, do you like the atmospheric parts
I think parts of it work.
I feel like the end of Inertia is too long.
Yeah, the end of Inertia is a bit much. Not the only closure that kind of does that this month, but I don't know. It's fine. If I had to put words to it, those are the words I'm picking.
That
I
being
haven't
said,
spent
it's
nearly
really
enough time
short.
with it to really analyze it properly, other than Foxglove good. Why say many word when few word do trick type vibe, you know?
Got you. Well, I'm hearing good things all across the board. That sounds like a direct endorsement. That means I'm just gonna have to listen to the whole thing to hear everybody's favorite parts. So I'm in.
Do it.
Do it.
It's a very it's one of those albums that you like have to listen to the whole thing because
This is not a single album.
it's an experience.
Yeah, it's very much an experience. Why say many word when few word do trick is how I feel about this next album as well.
Goblin Hours by Bilmuri.
Drive my spirit down, still wondering why I feel there's no life.
This album, it's fine.
It's fine. Now that is a fucked up way to go about it. I would say that this album is great. Justin,
Uh-huh.
how are you feeling about Goblin Hours?
Oh, come on.
no!
Wait. Okay. Let's back this up a little bit. Can we all agree this is better than last year's album?
400-pound back squat.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Fuck you, Justin.
What? Okay.
Flip a coin, that's my answer.
No.
Actually, no, I think I can say this one's better because I can at least remember The Void Approacheth as being a good song, whereas if you ask me to pick out any song off of 400-pound back squat, I can't name you a song off that album, and even if I listened to it, I probably couldn't remember which ones are actually good or my favorites last year. So I can at least say that The Void Approacheth, good. A Hogman's Delight, good.
Derek. I
Yes,
need to
sir.
know, what do you think about having a feature on every song?
I think it needs to happen from every Bilmuri album moving forward.
Really? On every
Yes.
song?
Every song.
Interesting.
To me,
I'd be down for that, to be honest.
to me, the Bilmuri brand has steadily evolved from being something where known for funky little throw in a voice clip here and here or a sound and make it work type of thing to refine the sound, and now we need to find a new element to introduce. To me, I thought the 400-pound back squat was kind of weak because it felt like something that was it was a step down from Eggy Pocket. Eggy Pocket is still my
Yes.
favorite Bilmuri album.
Yep.
And I felt like every album up to Eggy Pocket was leading to that sound. I think 400-pound back squat was a step down. Goblin Hours is a lateral move. And I think it's a move up because to me, this feels like it has the least experimentation of any Bilmuri album ever. Like, I feel like the sound here is more cohesive than anything else or than any other Bilmuri album, which means that if you like that sound, album's going to slap. I saved every song on here. If you don't like it, you're probably going to find one or two of the favorites of that sound.
That's
and
me.
I think that, to me, the experimentation, instead of being in kind of experimenting more with the structure or different production notes or things like that, that instead that experimentation has come in the form of what if we introduced a feature onto every track? And I think, honestly, as much as I love the quirkiness of a lot of Bilmuri's music, and I think that it was at its peak at Eggy Pocket, I think that this achieves that same level of uniqueness and identity without it being overbearing or relying on the production. Like, to me, obviously Bilmuri's had their sound. This sounds like a defining album. Like, this, if there was a Bilmuri sound that they wanted to stick to, they've done it for 7 tracks plus 2 interludes. And that makes it feel more like a cohesive album than any other Bilmuri album I've heard. which is in and of itself different for Bilmuri, because I loved Iggy Pocket. I think all of his albums that are shorter work as albums, but this is the first one to me that has felt like it's not up for debate whether this is an EP or an album. Does that make sense? Like, to me, this has
okay.
the album identity.
Interesting. You know what I just realized, and I think it's funny that
What's up?
the first 3 albums we talked about are all very short.
I ordered the playlist
Actually,
like
yeah.
that intentionally.
Oh,
did you?
okay.
There's a mastermind behind this.
Yes, there is. Yeah, I really don't have too much more to say. I listened to it once. I took away my couple of songs that I enjoyed, and even those couple of songs I haven't really gone back to. Also, I must say, both this and Boston Manor are victim of circumstance of releasing on October the fucking 14th. The gods that decided that
Bro, that day
6
was
albums
so
were going to drop
stacked.
on the same day, maybe more depending on how many bands you like listening to. Fucked. It's fucked.
Holy, I actually am looking at all these right now. And then you got like Lorna as well on that day. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, fuck today. So yeah, I did not get to spend as much time with Bilmuri or Boston Manor just because simply there were better releases, or in my opinion, better releases that we are going to start talking about next. If you guys are ready to move on.
I'll say my thoughts here real quick because I forgot to say my thoughts. Similar to Jake, I really didn't get much time with this. Honestly, I listened to it when it premiered and maybe a few times afterward, but it didn't. Nothing really stuck with me as much as some of the tracks from 400 Pound Dog Squad, as well as like nearly all of Eggy Pocket. So I'm just kind of left. I mean, what I'm hearing is good, but I don't hear anything that differentiates itself enough to warrant further listens, other than if I'm listening to the entire album.
Let's move on. We've got some bands coming back for the first time in a long time with some new albums up next. Let's begin with Nothing More, who have dropped their first album since 2017, Spirits.
Some people's minds just aren't worth changing.
The follow-up to 2017's The Stories We Tell Ourselves, one of my favorite albums of that year, and probably one of the more important albums to really send me on my journey into this type of music to begin with. That album holds a special place in my heart, and it was a damn long wait for Spirits, but I think it was worth it. This album is something special, and even though I've had 3 weeks to listen to it and try and figure out the story of what it's telling, I still think I have only scratched the surface of what this album has to offer. And I almost feel like this is one of those albums that is so complex that I don't know if I'm ever fully going to understand it or appreciate it for what it is. At this point, my understanding of this album is that I simply just enjoy a lot of the songs here. And the vague story that I've been able to piece together is about a relationship that falls apart. And it ends with Spirits as the closer of like wishing your special one, your loved one, was still there with you in spirit, but they aren't. And it feels like the first 2 tracks, Turn It Up Like and Tired of Winning, I don't really know how those 2 songs really connect with the rest of it, but I feel like the rest of the album is telling a story about love and heartbreak, and I almost feel like it gets stuck on that for too many songs in a row. Because the second time that I listened to this album in full, I realized you don't know what love means doesn't really end until you get to Valhalla, the second to last track on the album, which has one of my favorite vocal deliveries on the album. The chorus of that song: some people's minds just aren't worth changing, some people's games just aren't worth playing. And then I think Spirits is a great closer, but I'm saying all of this and I don't even feel very confident in everything that I'm saying. It's just, I don't know. There's so much to think about, and unfortunately, due to the release date and how much new music there was, I haven't had enough time to fully delve into this album the way that I would have hoped. But it is good. It is very good. And I'm very glad that this band has finally returned after many years. Please don't make me wait another 5 years.
Right. Thanks for dropping in. See you in 2027.
I hope not, man. I guess to get into some specifics about what I think about some of the other songs. Don't Look Back is my favorite non-single here. Well, Valhalla has my favorite moment of the non-singles in that chorus. I think Don't Look Back is the most cohesive song on here. That or Best Times. But Don't Look Back is kind of what I was expecting going into this album. I remember saying earlier this year that if any band is going to create like a piece of art in the vein of like how unique The Death of Peace of Mind is, it was going to be nothing more, and it was going to be this album that really just does something different, that tells a story in just a really unique experimental way. And that's what I came into this album looking for. And I don't feel like I fully got that, or I feel like I got that, but it only fully clicked for me on Don't Look Back. I love the way that song builds. It's like you feel very tense listening to that song. And then you kind of get the explosion in the following songs of the other F word, Fake, and Face It. And then Best Times, Deja Vu, Dream With Me, I feel like are all kind of reminiscing on the better times. I mean, Best Times is self-explanatory. I feel like Deja Vu and Dream With Me kind of just extend that story a little bit. With all of that being said, relationship songs and albums are never something that has really stuck with me very much. And given that is a majority of what this album has to offer lyrically, I am left a little underwhelmed. For as much as this band means to me, and as much as I love some of these songs, like Deadass Tired of Winning, that song is fucking nuts. Easily my favorite song on here. I think it at one point this year was in my top 10 songs of the year. But this album, maybe I set my expectations too high. Maybe this album's also just not for me. I don't really know. I'm left very confused and perplexed on how I feel about this album for as much as I love it.
So what I'm hearing is I'm really going to enjoy it.
I think you will. I think you're really going to like this.
This was another one that I missed by virtue of being gone for half of October. And I'm sad that I did. But November is looking stacked for singles, but not for albums, at least for me, as far as I can tell, which means that I got time to catch up on this, and maybe you'll be hearing about it at the end of the year. It would have to put in some work to beat out my current top 12, but honestly, by virtue of what I've heard off of it and what you're telling me, it could do it. And I didn't think I'd be saying that about a Nothing More album in the year 2022.
I had extremely high expectations going into this album, and I feel like I needed to like shift my mindset on what this album is, like going into it versus like, okay, this is what the album is. When we go into it with the new mindset of having heard it now, this is one of those albums that's going to take a long time to really sink in and understand. And I need to spend more time with it to really say much more. That takes us to We Came as Romans, who have also released their first album in a long-ass time, Dark Bloom.
Flames of hell until my world burns down. So don't act like you know me. Don't say you're sorry now.
I feel like this reason is justified, though.
Yeah, this one is much more justified than Nothing More just disappearing for a few years. This is the first album since the passing of vocalist Kyle. Jacob, I feel like Jacob, I need to hand it over to you. I can't do this album justice myself.
See, I can't listen to the album.
Oh, like as in you listened to it once and you can't do it again, or you just could not bring yourself
I've listened
to
it twice. I've saved my songs. I can't listen to the album as a whole again because Promise You makes me so fucking miserable. It's like Too Dumb by Rivals.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. God, it's that one.
Have you seen the music video for that, Derek, for Promise You?
I haven't. I didn't want to do that to myself.
You should. Yeah.
When you're going through it, that's when you should watch it. Maybe you shouldn't, but to set the tone, that's when you should watch it.
Yeah, Golden, One More Day, and Promise You are really the three songs on here that stand out to me as being like really special in terms of like lyrical content, and also the ones that I just like can't or won't revisit. Like,
Hmm.
it's interesting.
I've got One More Day saved actually. That's one of the ones that I actually
Mhm.
did get to, and I actually recently, I guess, when with the release of this album, I have now saved Daggers. which I didn't have
Yes,
saved before.
it's my favorite song on here. This is my favorite single. It's still my favorite song. Being contested very heavily by both Holding the Embers and Doublespeak.
Hmm.
Doublespeak is fucking nuts. It reminds me of the Veil of Maya song that I think is also called Doublespeak.
There is this Veil Maya song called Double Speak.
Something about it, that kind of clipped, repitched vocal gives me like matriarch vibes and like false idol vibes, and I don't know why. It's just like that. That's something that I associate with Veil of Maya. So to have a song with the same name, but I think that, at least for me, honestly, this is probably my favorite We Came as Romans album.
This?
Which feels a little fucked to say, and I'm not sure I fully believe it myself. And I think it's just by virtue of the fact that it's what I've heard most recently and have a greater understanding and attachment to the band now type of thing. Like when I first heard a lot of the original like We Came as Romans or their older albums, I wasn't quite as invested in like the scene or like in the history of the band in general. So now as I come into this, I'm fully aware of the history of the band, and it makes me appreciate some songs on here more, like particularly Promise You. So that even as melancholy as it is, like I can just sit down and enjoy this with full context and enjoyment. And because it sounds so new, I'm not going back to a sound of like 2015, 2013, 2010 type of thing, because some of those songs sonically don't hold up as well, at least for me, even if they're like objectively good. So I'm coming into this and I've saved Daggers, Doublespeak, The Anchor, and Holding the Embers, and the rest of the album I feel like is very consistently good and serves the purpose that it needs to. And so I'm left feeling very satisfied with this album. And I think it might just be because I haven't revisited older We Came as Romans in a while, but I really, really enjoyed this, more so than I was expecting. Most of my favorites are the non-singles.
Interesting.
I'm the
Mine-
opposite.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
My favorites are Dark Bloom and Black Hole. I think Daggers is fine. I think Plagued is solid. Golden, I don't know why Golden never really clicked with me. That song's depressing, and I feel like I should have listened to it more when it came out, but probably the most forgettable single for me. And then, unfortunately, the rest of the album is a symptom of being released on October the 14th. I just did not get to spend enough time with it, given everything else that released. And as like I listened to the 5 non-singles earlier today, I enjoyed everything I heard. I didn't enjoy listening to Promise You. That song is a heart-wrencher. But I think it's an important song. It's a meaningful song. It went straight into my emotional feels playlist. It's a good song. It's just not memorable enough to stack up with everything else that released on the day and throughout the month, which is unfortunate because this album was a long time coming. There was a long build up to this album, and I wish it left more of an impact. Is that all we got for this one?
Maybe so. Justin, did you end up listening to this?
I gave it one hearty
try.
one hearty
like, yeah.
try.
And his favorite song was Doublespeak.
No,
I feel like the direction.
it was Daggers actually.
That is so fucking weird.
That's weird. Yeah, that is that is so
That's
weird.
sauce.
And
I think
it's
it's
not
just
even...
because I think it's just the 0936 feature.
Dude, that's like... That song came out last year, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's
so
the
it's
biggest
not-
grower for the singles. So
Fuck, that should have been my feature of the year last year. I'm pissed. It's growing on me so much. It's so good.
Did it come out? It might have been this
Did
year.
it?
I actually don't know.
Yo,
I
it better
think-
come out this year.
I feel like it is this year.
No, it's not. No, November 10th. No! Fuck. Can't believe it's been a year since that dropped. Damn.
Wow. Yeah.
As I said, this album's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, it's a hard to process album.
Yeah. Well, even as somebody who like wasn't as invested in the band nearly as much as you, it's hard to listen to. Like I nearly
Yeah.
got brought to tears during Promise You.
Hmm.
So I can completely
I
understand
was
that being
in
able to.
tears. I remember typing in the chat, in the Discord chat. I was like, "All right, guys,
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch the Promise You music video. This is
Yep.
probably a bad idea." And then, yep,
Closest thing I could think of is like if somebody like I don't know, fucking like Too Close to Touch got a new vocalist. They made like a song or they made an album and then put out a song like dedicated to him at the end. My ass would be
Yeah.
in tears, bro. Like
yeah. All right,
we've got two older bands back to back here, some scene staples. Sleeping with Sirens have put out their newest album, Complete Collapse.
Welcome to my family tree. We made a perfect song, but the roots underneath are dead in the ground.
You were talking about feature of the year with the We Came as Romans 0936.
Mhm.
I need to make note of the Charlotte Sands feature yet again.
Just put her in the fucking band.
I don't know if it's gonna be feature of the year, but goddamn is it in contention for it.
interesting.
Best song
It's
on this
so
album
nice.
by quite a margin for me at this point.
As somebody who hasn't heard it, I get it, but that kind of muddles my expectations a bit. I was
Yeah,
hoping there would be
The
something
singles
better.
are just entirely the best songs on here, pretty much.
Fuck.
That's not to say that they're bad. I just think that the singles are better. The singles are just simply better. Tyrants was a shock of an opening song. That shit. Tyrants is maybe the heaviest song on this album for some reason. With crosses there, I don't know. It's close. But Tyrants is sick. And then Complete Collapse, Let You Down. I've already sung my praise about those songs. Same with crosses. This is a hard album for me to really give my opinion on. I feel like that's just kind of how I feel about a lot of albums this month. Hard for me to really give my true opinion on it just because I didn't get to spend enough time with a lot of stuff this month, just with how much there was. And for the time that I did get to spend with a lot of music this month, it left me feeling just kind of indifferent in a way.
Mm.
This is leaps and bounds ahead of, was the 2019, I want to say it was like How It Feels to Be Lost, was it?
Yes.
This is leaps and bounds better than that. This is a big step up.
Yes, I 100% agree.
But it's not the dark horse contender that I was saying it could be when reviewing the singles. I don't know, like, Family Tree is solid. Family Tree is kind of more of an emotional one. Be Happy is fine.
I really like the lyricism in Family Tree. I don't know. I don't even know why. I don't really relate to it or anything, but
Us featuring Dorothy is fine. Control Alt Delete is still the most underwhelming single, and then you close out the album with Mr. Nice Guy, Apathetic, and Grave, and like, they're all fine. They just aren't leaving the same mark that the singles did for me. I do want to make note of Grave because it is an acoustic closer for the most part. And generally, I've said in the past multiple times throughout this podcast that acoustic closers do not work for me. But Grave is one of the exceptions to that rule. I thought Grave was a solid closer. I feel like it's one of those acoustic-ish songs that didn't leave me bored at the end of an album.
Mm.
bro, you haven't heard Missing Limbs. He has actually.
He
I
has
have.
listened to it. That sounds so good. I
Yeah,
think he called it fine.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Crime against humanity.
Not my first one. Yeah, I don't know. This album, I don't have too much more to say. There's good songs on here. Kellen Quinn's still an incredible vocalist. He got some solid features on here, but it didn't live up to the potential that the singles had me believing it could.
I think these guys are past their prime. Although, yeah. I don't know. I like Jake. I really enjoyed the singles as well. So
They were more past their prime in 2019.
that
This
yeah,
is like a step in the right direction.
You're right.
This is a step in the right direction. Maybe the next album they're getting closer to that prime again. I don't know. This is a step in the right direction. I'll definitely say that.
Oh boy.
It doesn't sound like there's too much more to say about Sleeping with Sirens, so I think we got a bit more of a controversial discussion to talk about next. If I had to take a guess.
All right, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer here. Do not listen to anything Derek says
Whoa.
for the next 10 minutes.
All right, so let me introduce it then. I can't let Derek introduce this if we aren't going to listen to him.
Architects have put out their newest album, The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit.
Wait, what was that? I didn't hear your transition.
hear
I'm supposed to not
Fuck.
listen to him?
Justin, I know you're the one that's behind the paywall. Is
No,
Derek back there?
We're putting
Derek back there
Derek
with
behind
you?
it now.
Nobody would pay to hear what I have to say about this garbage, bro.
Well, I guess if
I'm
you're
giving
gonna
him
start,
shit, but I'm on his side on this one.
I guess if you're gonna start with that, Derek, take it away. Jacob,
Dog.
you got the back half.
I'm gonna get my thoughts out of the way because I don't want to like spend all my time shitting on it because like I haven't made it any secret that I really don't like this. And what I think it is that I got bored about 4 songs in and started yawning. And I haven't done that in a while. I think maybe Fame on Fire might have been the last time I did it, to be honest. And I know Jacob's like, he's mauling in his chair. He's like, you not just compare it to Fame on Fire.
I did that to a certain album that released in September that you guys really enjoyed. So, you know, it's fair.
Yeah, it
It's
happens. So here's where I'm at. Is I'm not an Architects fan. I really enjoyed For Those That Wish to Exist. It was my album of the year last year for ages. Still made my top 15. And I wasn't really a fan of anything prior to that, but I could definitely appreciate Architects as a cornerstone of the metalcore scene that everybody wanted to sound like. I mean, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us and Holy Hell, bands have been and still are ripping off the guitar from those albums, and I'm not a huge fan, honestly, and it almost feels like a crime to say, of Sam Carter's vocals, which is like weird. I don't know why I liked For Those That Wish to Exist so much. Remains an anomaly. So then you get to this, which it's fine, but it doesn't make sense. And I've seen it floating around that these were potentially B-sides from For Those That Wish to Exist, which were then kind of fleshed out and made into, fuck it, let's make an album out of them. And to me, that's really what it feels like, that I listen to this and not only do I not get it, but I'm actively not having a good time. To me, this doesn't sound like Architects. This sounds hollow and uninspired and disjointed, and I don't get it. I think Be Very Afraid is a good closer and Deep Fake works as an opener, I guess. Honestly, and Jacob, you're going to be mad, but I'm not saying this to piss you off, I promise. I think my least favorite song on here is Spit the Bone. And it's just because the bleh feels lame to me. It's a lame-ass bleh.
No, it feels
It's corny. Spit the bone. Bet. Like, what?
It's awesome.
It's fucking terrible.
It's awesome.
Maybe
It's
if it
awesome.
had raw or black.
You
you know what I'm gonna hate though, because the people at shows are gonna be dicks and they're actually gonna spit, and it's gonna be like,
Oh,
disgusting.
ew. Yeah. So,
yeah,
Yeah, that's.
you know,
I think that any of these, you know how bands, Dance Gavin Dance comes to mind for me because, like, obviously, the in between albums they'll drop a single or two just because they can. I think that some of these would have worked really well as that type of release. I think that as something that's, or even if they made this in an EP, and it could be an 11 song, 42 minute EP. I don't care if they're B-sides from For Those That Wish to Exist. To me, I don't think that there's any clear message here. I think that this is the weakest that Architects have ever sounded lyrically. Other bands want to write Architects albums. This is Architects giving us an album that sounds like so many other bands. And
I don't think they pull it off well. I think the focus is too much on Sam Carter's vocals here. You can't hear the instruments distinctly half the time, at least for me. And then even then, his vocals are too overproduced and too pronounced. And as somebody, again, like I don't like his vocals all that much. So I'm looking at this like, damn, I listened to this. It came and went. I think that this is probably the worst Architects album in their entire discography, and I will never be revisiting a single song from this. He's panting, bro. Someone let him out of his cage. What the fuck?
Justin, let him out.
No, it's my turn. It's
Did he
my
just
turn.
fucking- Yo.
It's my turn. All right. This. I feel like you're gonna be a little bit surprised by what I'm gonna say, but this is definitely a step down from For Those Who Wish to Exist. I will say it right now. But there are so many little moments on this album that I love. And I think that's what makes it for me. Like the fadeaway scream in Deep Fake. Probably my favorite moment on the entire
That
album.
is also my favorite moment on the album. I will give props to that.
Spit the Bone, the Don't Forget to Spit Blah. I love that as well. Some of the lyricism in doom scrolling. I don't know. Maybe I just like the word doom scrolling.
I had
It
really
is
high
a fire ass track.
Yeah,
man.
I had really high expectations for Doom Scrolling, and I think it's probably one of my least favorite songs on the album. Unfortunately,
That is one that kind of stood out to me lyrically more so than any of the others. I will say we're having the same favorite moments here. It's just our overall perception is a little, just a little bit different, I'd say.
And then I thought what was really interesting is Be Very Afraid. Because normally with Architects, you get like a more somber, emotional, I guess it's still emotional, but more a slower track usually as the closer. Like I can think of the last 3 albums, just like Memento Mori, Dying is Absolutely Safe, and A Wasted Hymn. All very slower tracks. So I think that's what I was expecting with Be Very Afraid. And then you just get like I think it's the heaviest song on the album, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say.
I think we even get like some like deathcore-esque growls in it as well. So
Like in the back, I think, yeah, there's a couple of them. Which it sounds crazy for me to say it, but Be Very Afraid might be my favorite track on the album. Given that I generally have not been a fan of like Holy Hell era Architects, which was like when they were heavy, and Be Very Afraid is the heaviest song on here. I think there's like a bit of a disconnect between those two eras and the song, but like something about Be Very Afraid just fucking rips to me. That song just goes so fucking hard. The delivery on We're Suffering the Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit, and then the riff kicks in, and then it's like you push me to the fucking limit, and it's like it just pumps me up. God. I almost want to say it's like my favorite closing track of the month, which feels a little criminal to say next to Promise You by We Came as Romans and that Heartbreaker. But I mean, they're just two entirely different closing tracks.
I've been highlighting like closers of all the albums. Like I highlighted Inertia, Homebound, and Promise You. So
Be Very Afraid is like when I got to Be Very Afraid, that was the moment that I was like, this is a good album to oh shit. I might have to reconsider some things now.
I just think Derek is being too harsh.
I think Derek is entitled to his opinion.
My problem is that because I liked For Those That Wish to Exist so much, and it broke that cycle of me not liking a single Architects song, I was very hopeful that moving forward, Architects were going to be like on their redemption arc for me. And so then I get this, and it's not only like back to me not liking Architects, but it's me really not liking Architects. So I'm kind of predisposed is the word I'm looking for. I'm predisposed to being even harsher on it than maybe I actually am, just by virtue of the fact that I wanted it to be so much different moving forward, and it's not.
And then there's me, who liked a singular Doomsday off of Holy Hell, and then half of For Those That Wish to Exist, and now I have 11 for 11 on this album.
You have
So I think
11
that's-
for 11?
I like every single song on here, yeah.
Whoa.
Write that down. Write that down.
That could have just threw me off.
Do I think there's some that are underwhelming? Yeah. I think Doom Scrolling and Born Again Pessimist are underwhelming. I think Burn Down My House.
I was gonna say I love Born Again Pessimist because I love the line "God bless my big empty heart."
Yeah, that's a good moment, but it just hasn't really left me. Burn Down My House feels like it just goes on. It just runs on for way too long.
That's one of the forgettable.
This album runs on for way too long. Sorry, involuntary.
Which,
I had to...
it sucks for me. Actually, let me get it out of the way first while I'm kind of on the negative train. Tear Gas is my least favorite single now. I'm on the train of Tear Gas is not a great song. I overrated it when it first came out. My opinion has very much changed on it. It's just okay. But like this album goes from Deep Fake being fine to Tear Gas being okay, Spit the Bone to being good, to Burn Down My House being okay, Living Is Killing Us and When We Were Young being two of my top 3 favorite songs on here, and then Doom Scrolling and Born Again Pessimist being like meh. And it's just like, I wish this album could just be like consistent for a moment. And like I wish I didn't have to like go from like a song I really enjoyed to a song that left me underwhelmed, to where I could go more than 3 minutes of just enjoying something, you know? For as much as I do like this album, and as much as this is my favorite Architects album, it feels, I want to say there's missed potential, because some of the songs really do click for me. And then other ones are just kind of there.
I feel like it's similar in like terms to Guardin for myself, where I like single songs. I don't like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like a singles album for me. It also doesn't feel like very cohesive.
I think it feels pretty cohesive. I feel like it kind of follows like a similar-ish. I keep in mind, I did not listen to For Those That Wish to Exist in full, like very much at all. But I feel like lyrically, this is touching on like the downfall of society in a similar way.
I would think so.
So I kind of picked up on those notes throughout the album, very loosely. I can't pick out like the story as it progresses from song to song. Very loosely, I get the theme of the album and it works enough for me. I think the only other thing I haven't mentioned is A New Moral Low Ground, which was the final single released prior to the album. Released as a single in the month of October, so we didn't get to talk about it individually. But that song went from my least favorite single to my second favorite single in the matter of a week, basically. I went from on first listen, I was like, I don't really like this, to, I don't know, the more I listened to it, the more that guitar solo that just kind of blew me away. Like, I didn't love it at first, but now I love that guitar solo. And then it reminds me a lot of Black Lungs and the wordiness of the chorus, and how I didn't love Black Lungs at first, but I grew to love Black Lungs in a similar way. A New Moral Low Ground is a very wordy song that I have grown to love again.
It is very similar to Black Lungs.
Yeah. I think a lot of this album left the biggest impact on me. I think, or it left more of an impact on me simply because the final 3 songs are all really solid. Whereas with Sleeping with Sirens, the last 3 are meh. The singles are my favorites. We Came as Romans, the ending, Promise You was a heartbreaker, but the songs didn't speak to me too much. Nothing more. The closure of that album was released as a single months ago. Architects being the one major album this month to give me back-to-back-to-back songs that I really enjoyed to close it, left a mark on me in a month that otherwise I was leaving most albums more underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think the last thought for me is I think this is kind of like in the same vein as I Prevail for me, where it's just okay. It probably won't be something I come back to like for end of year recaps, but yeah. I took my singles. All right, Justin, I think you should take this one away.
I've been silent for a while, but let's fucking go. We got one of my most anticipated albums of this year, Nerv, dropping their debut album, We're All Patients Here.
About damn time, cowards.
Right. Mongrels.
7 singles
Damn.
in. Finally, you give us a release date after the 7th single.
You guys are being harsh.
I mean,
We're only being harsh out of love.
I do this out of love. I do
Yeah.
this out of love. Oh man, where the fuck do I start with this? Well, I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold back for a second. I'm gonna let you guys start because I got a lot to say.
Okay,
And
I'll start. I'll start.
I want to take in some input before I
Some thoughts
move on.
before he unleashes.
Yes.
So I think this is a really, really solid album, especially for a debut. I mean, we kind of expected it, knowing the strength of the singles, that this was going to be a really good album, and given that we got a lot of this as singles. However, the middle of the album, the pacing is off. This is an unfair comparison to give Nerv, but I think back to Sleep Talk by Dayseeker, and how that album starts with Drunk, a slower song, and then you get into Crooked Soul and Burial Plot, and like somewhat more intense, and then you get The Embers Glow into The Color Black before you get into like Already Numb and Starting to Be Empty, and it feels like you're on a ride, right? With this album, the singles were always going from a heavier track to something softer. Like we would get Color Feeling, and then we got Blue, and then, or maybe we got Low, I don't know. But the order was like, you get Blue, and then we get I Need Help as a single, where you get a heavier song and then kind of a softer song. They throw all 4 of the softer songs back to back to back to back, and they throw all the heavier songs at the opening and then at the end, and then Brother as the closer is like more of a slow ballad. The pacing does not work for me.
So
And I wish it did.
I'm gonna jump in on that and say I noticed that too. At first, that was my gripe coming out of this album. After my first couple listens out of the however 100 many are now on last.
I think
FM.
simply, if Bad Dream is more of an upbeat song, this album is like borderline top 10 lock.
And I'm gonna defend that, and I'm gonna say they shouldn't have done that because of how the album is themed. So what I was holding back on was this album feels like a mental crisis on loop, like to a T. Like you've got Demons, which is talking about trying to get into that recovery state. You've already got some shit that you're dealing with, so you're trying to recover, but something keeps drawing you back in. Bad Nature is the outside stimuli that's forcing that to kind of progress and get further and further. Low is that depressed state. Still Breathing means just like, the lyricism is all you're on the cusp of death and just not escaping what hurts you. I think Color and the Feeling as a single kind of off-put me for a moment, but after listening to the context of the album, Color and the Feeling is probably one of the more genius songs to put where it is, because it kind of amplifies where, like, if you go to sleep and after a while you kind of enter that state of I don't know what the name of it is, but like you kind of want to make yourself happy just to make other people around you happy.
Kind of like the lyrics in Modified, almost like by Nevertel.
Yeah, so
Similar idea.
Color the Feeling has lyrics with the chorus. Yeah, your tattoo touch I can never forget. Breathe your song down my neck. It wasn't a word what you said. It must be the color in this feeling. It's that the emotion kind of bringing back was like, oh, maybe I'm actually on the upswing. And then it's that one Bad Dream is that one kind of thing that sets you off, that brings you right back down to your lowest point. And then I Need Help and Not the One is that kind of recovery stage where you're trying to get back to the person you used to be before you suffered all the trauma and all the depression. And then Erased, Blue, and Brother is kind of more like the acceptance side of it, where you're fucked up, but you're willing to fight through it. That's what I take away from it. And similar to Jake, yes, I I think the 4 tracks from Still Breathing to I Need Help, maybe not the one include that as well, I don't know. I think those outside the context of the album don't fit too well. But if you're listening to this album all together and you go back to back and kind of listen to those and kind of understand the themes and the lyricism, this album has been so easy for me to loop because of that. Because it starts off strong, you get that softer side, but it's kind of more lyrically based, and then you end off with the more instrumental and more fast-paced part of the album. Going into what I like a lot about this album, is if I haven't gone into that already, let's talk about the singles that, or let's talk about the actual new songs on the album. I'm gonna include "I Need Help" on this because we didn't talk about that on the podcast when that dropped because we all kind of waited for it. Demons, Demons is a really good opener.
It is. Definitely is.
There's a lot to unpack with it lyrically. What I like the best is the parade, where it's like that electrical instrumentation. Would you say? You know me better. Do you see a better me? Do I see him dead inside? And it's kind of like trying to find the better part of you. You know, seeing if people see what you see. Because perception's always a huge thing, and it's something I always deal with, where I'm always kind of in that imposter syndrome state where I feel like I'm imitating a side of me that I don't like, but I know people like me because fuck, people are still around, people still talk to me, but I still get those eras where it's like, you know, maybe I could change something about me and maybe people like me better, but that's kind of where I get across in Demons. But that doesn't fucking compare to fucking Erased. Oh my god, Erased is my favorite song of the month and probably my favorite song in the last couple of months. This song...
Guys, take notes. We have a hint for Justin's end of year list.
I wonder.
It's a
what
breadcrumb.
gonna be like.
It's a breadcrumb. We've been starved for them.
You're welcome. Fuck. They played the song on a live stream when they were talking about the album before it dropped, and I didn't think too much of it. But when I listened to this in the album, something clicked with me, and I don't know why, but this one song has been on entire repeat for weeks since it's been out. I am at over 200 listens on this song alone.
Jesus, that's
It is
insane.
so good. I love the chorus, the bounciness to it. You guys know I'm a sucker for like outer space and like kind of astral imagery, and I love the any part where it's like I'm holding my breath still wide awake. Let's raise the stakes to outer space with all the sounds erased, and it just kind of like that back and forth, that swinging motion. That feels so good. So good. This is a song that I immediately turn on my car when I am going to work or something like that, when I just want something to like bounce to. And it's so fucking good.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
This is my Dark Cloud moment.
Uh-huh.
You know how I didn't really like Dark Cloud?
Uh-huh.
You loved
Don't
it?
do it, brother.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
yeah. It's that again.
Man, brother's way too good.
Well, no.
Well, no, I'm not talking about
no,
Brother. I'm saying
he's talking about Erased.
I'm talking that.
Oh.
I'm saying Erased is my.
I thought he
least
meant the
favorite.
closer.
I'm
I was
saying,
like, what the fuck?
No, I'm saying Erased is my least favorite of the new songs here.
How? What?
Yeah, I know I said I didn't like the pacing in the middle, and that includes Bad Dream. I have spent more time with Bad Dream than
Dream
Erased.
is so good.
You upset me. But-
Erased just... I feel like I get the good parts of Erased in Blue and Bad Nature and Low. And Erased isn't offering me anything different that makes me want to listen to Erased more than those songs. And it isn't offering anything contextually in the album for me. It's just kind of there.
I don't know. I think it was genius to put Erased and Blue together. Because I think they match each other so well.
That's fair.
Wise. But
Blue is still by
instrument-
far the best song on this album as far as I'm concerned. But
Aha!
Uh,
Jake and I agree.
Hey!
Woo!
I still think you're wrong, but
Brother's
good
the
of you
best
to think
song.
that.
Shut up, brother.
I am also in agreement with Brother being one of the better songs on the album. Erase is still my best and my favorite.
So we
but
all like
Brother's
the end
a-
of the album.
yeah,
Brother's a really good closer.
yeah. The Brother, Where Art Thou delivery, just
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it wraps up the album really well in the idea that like we're all patients here.
Yeah. I also liked in Bad Dream, the lyrics coming out, we hear my words, I won't let your castle burn, see your fire in the distance, I know our love can fix this. That was
Something. Oh, sorry,
What?
what? I just want to say that for me, I didn't love this as a whole, but I think if I was trying to take somebody who knew nothing about the scene or anything, and being me and my various levels of post-hardcore, explaining that or whatever, what's post-hardcore? I would put this as one of 5 albums to show somebody. Like, if you had to pick a top 5 post-hardcore albums to show to somebody to show them what post-hardcore is, I would pick this every time. And
Wow. I want to know
I
what the other
think-
ones are.
I mean, haven't been myself.
Yeah, I was imagining that one.
Probably Instant Gratification by Dance Gavin Dance. I'd have to think about it, but this is also on there. It's one of the 5, and I think it's just because it's so successful in achieving a thematic message and also providing enough versatility and diversity throughout the album while still maintaining that cohesive sound that like this. It bridges that gap between hard rock and post-hardcore really well to the point where it is a flawless album, and I don't know how else to describe it.
That's actually such a good way to put it. Because my gripe is just with like the pacing and like the ordering of the middle section. I don't think any of the songs together are bad. Like, I think each song individually here has something really cool to offer. Just like on the whole, in the way it's structured, isn't working for me as much as I would hope. So yeah, a flawless album. I think that's a solid description as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Man, there's another album this year that really that I would say is a flawless album. But I'm not gonna say what it is. You guys can leave that up to to guess.
I don't know. I still think that this album's really good. I think the pacing problem in the middle, while yes, I did see it at the start, I think that makes a lot more sense now, and I can appreciate the entire album as a whole because of it. But again,
I feel like this is one of those albums that if you've never listened to Nerv before, it's not going to be a problem. But for me, given that I went into this album listening to 7 out of the 11 songs on here, that its impact was like dampened a little bit.
Maybe I won't have a problem because I've only listened to most of the singles other than Blue, like preparing for this podcast. So
yeah, I think if you go in with an open mind, I think you'll be fine. Even if you had listened to quite a few singles before then.
I've tried going back to this album like a couple of times, and as soon as I hit Color Feeling and I see Bad Dream and I Need Help after it, it's just, it kind of kills the tempo for me, and I wish it didn't. I wish I could just like change my mindset a little bit to, I don't know, give it the proper. I don't know what else to say about it that I haven't already said. So
Well, I mean, like, okay, so a better question: how would you improve on this then? Like, if you had to change the order
Jake's
of the
gonna write
track
a
list,
song.
I think you either move Bad Dream to, well, I think you move one of Erased or Not the One in between, like in the middle of the album. That I think simply that's all you need to do. Either move one of those 2 songs or add something in between Color Feeling and Bad Dream that
Right,
is a little
but-
bit more upbeat.
the problem is if you do that, you lose a little bit of the message that I think is trying to be portrayed.
I don't see it that way, and I think that's just something we're going to agree to disagree on.
Yeah.
It's all subjective, guys.
It is.
This is my favorite.
Except
thing
for
to say.
Justin's opinion. Justin's opinion objective. I trust him more.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
thank
are
you.
nitpicking the hell out of this album. I need to make it clear that this is a fantastic album, and I would
shit.
highly recommend it, especially as a debut. There has never been a better time to get on the Nerv hype train than right now.
No, Nerv hit it out of the park with a lot
get
of
on my
instrumentals
nerves.
on this. Not to go into like too much more detail, but there's a lot of really good instrumentation in this album as a whole, and lyrically it's great. Similar to Jake, I can kind of see where some of the pacing can be improved on. But for a debut album, Nerv, thank you for the wonderful job.
Nerv album 2, whenever it happens, is gonna be fire.
Oh
I
yeah,
believe. That takes us to our final album for this month's recap.
all right, I'm done for the evening. Bye, guys.
What?
Let's talk about Fit for King and their new album, The Hell We Create.
I see you lost in the darkness. Your body's breaking down, so afraid and tormented.
Yes. Wow. This is the best Fit for a King album.
I wish I could feel that way.
I wish I
really
could
do.
feel that way.
It's a
I
shame.
think this dethroned Dark Skies. And
You know
I
what
think
the
it's not
difference is for me?
close. What?
You know what? This album doesn't have enough bells.
I fucking love that. That they were on Twitter, they were like, "Don't worry, guys, we don't have as many bells on this album." And Jake's the one fucking guy who's like, "I really miss the bells."
When I think about
That's fucking
it,
fantastic.
The Path was a top 10 album of 2020. And it had a lot of bells.
That's
This
the only
album
reason.
has significantly less bells, and I'm feeling significantly more indifferent to it.
It's-
I don't know, man. There seems to be a correlation.
That's phenomenal.
It's gotta be it, guys.
That has to be it. Surely it's not anything else. With that being
I'm actually
said,
crying.
with that being said, I think a lot of the songs on here are solid, and I don't think it's that much worse than The Path. It's just that the individual songs on here did not leave as much of an impact as like Louder Voice or God of Fire or Locked in My Head.
I 100% agree. And it's really sad because when I saw them live, Ryan went into like he talked about like what the album is about, and I thought that's like something I would really connect with, like dealing with like the feet. Like I think one of the songs, I can't remember which one he said, but it's about his wife got sick as right when he and his wife adopted, I think, 2 children, and it was like a very scary time for him where he thought he was gonna lose her.
The Other Side.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Okay, but yeah, I thought that was like a bunch of these songs like would be something that I can really connect with. But I don't know why I can't. It's just because maybe it's because I don't like how it sounds sonically.
The thing
As much-
about that is that I don't feel like sonically, other than the lack of bells, that this is too much of a departure from instrumentally what The Path sounded like.
Well, I didn't like the path, so
I can't comment on Dark Skies because it's an album that exists. Someone else take it away. I can't talk after saying that.
I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm plotting. I'm scheming.
Like, I feel like, man, this is a kind of no, I can't say this because it involves the album we listened to the other day. But I could have a similar. I feel like you guys know what I'm talking about, but if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but I could have like a similar turnaround if I give this album a little bit more time and go into it with a different mindset. But
Okay.
just right now, it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah. Derek, it's your time.
So, damn. Okay. I've been really bad with hiding my hand.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. It's okay.
I've been really horrific with it, and we got a little bit out of Justin tonight, which was good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Although we
Oh, he's
knew.
back.
We knew.
Yeah,
There
we
was any-
knew.
we
did
knew.
know.
We knew. Okay. So I think that this album is about living with mental struggles, depression, anxiety, loss of a loved one, and the overbearing and overwhelming way that it can feel given the state of the world currently. And it's that things are already shit, and it is hard to live when not only are people in power sabotaging the world, but you're sabotaging yourself, and that they want to keep you complacent and dependent on your own mental illness so that you don't see what's going on around you. And
That's deep.
I think that, even just in the opener, the hell that we create, obviously, like, face value, the world around us is the hell that we create, but also that sometimes we can create our own circumstances that feed into our own mental illness. They go for the throat and take away everything. No mercy for the ones who break the back. Sweet conviction, fragile sovereignty, no hope, bloodshed. And that our ending hours are knocking down our own door, running straight into the end, eradication. That kind of establishes the scene of we're like common people are struggling, and the elites in power or corporations, they don't give a shit about you, and that we as humanity have created our own hell that we are now walking into, whether it be, poverty, stuff with the climate, whatever. Like, we cause that, and the people who we as, like, I guess, like, common people or whatever report to, whether that be, politicians, CEOs, whatever, like, we're too busy working for them to work for humanity, and that they want to keep it that way. And then you get to the other side, which kind of delves into that idea of loss of a loved one, or the potential loss of a loved one, like you were talking about, where it's like, a lifetime of mourning inside me, rising so high I can barely breathe, purpose replaced with doubt, blinded by the thought of a life lived without you, and talking about the depression and anxiety that leaves with the thought of losing a loved one. And that sort of stems to that idea of, here's something that we struggle with on top of the shitty circumstances that we've created for ourselves and subjected ourselves to. And it keeps going through with Falling Through the Sky, Sink Below, Reaper, that to me, all of those are about different mental illnesses or different facets of struggling with your own internal kind of emotional turmoil. And then you get to times like this where it kind of goes into the idea, at least how I interpret it, was that you kind of, that even amongst how shitty it is, we still think that we're at the best point that we could be, because we know that it's only going to get worse from here. And it's kind of a wake-up call that, like, okay, you need to start paying attention because it's already bad. We think it's good, but it's going to get worse. And then after that realization, it's kind of like we get to Eyes Roll Back. I think this is a concept album, personally.
Oh, yeah.
And that with Eyes Roll Back, which comes immediately after, is I see it again and again. I open my eyes, but I keep my mouth shut. In silence, I'll dig my own grave. Born into chaos, bred to seek pain at every turn. Wake up and feel my insides burn. That it's kind of like, even when you make the realization that, okay, we need to do something about this, like, you can open your eyes and have that realization for just a brief moment, but they're going to close, they're going to roll back again. And the eyes rolling back is, even if you can see what's going on around you, your eyes are going to roll back into your head, so you're looking at the own problems inside your head again and not focused on what's around you. And that's what the people in charge want you to do, so that you don't see how shit everything is. And then you get to Fracture, which is kind of losing myself because I was holding on to the person that I saw inside. You were seeing it inside because your eyes rolled back. Every lie that you justified, I'm leaving you behind. I don't need you in my life. I don't need you. And that it's kind of like realizing that, okay, because I've had that moment of clarity of seeing how bad things are around me, I need to work on myself and get out of that so that I can help other people and help the world around me and be a better version of myself for myself. Which then goes to reaching out,
where it's about, hold on, I know it can get easier dealing with the pain, watching through the window as the light begins to fade, reaching out to someone to take it all away. I know it can get easier. I just wish it was today. I swear I'll pick you up off the ground. I swear I'll pull you out when you start to drown. If I can make you numb to this heartache, I would take it away. And it's making that realization of yourself that I don't think that that's about I'm feeling like shit or my mental health is bad. I wish I could feel better today. It's having made that realization for yourself and looking at the people around you and trying to reassure them like, hey, it does get better. I just wish that I could do something to make you feel better in this moment and to help you. Which gets to the closer, which is what you left behind. Where it's this house doesn't feel like home when the ghosts of the past walk through these halls, just a part of the syndrome, skeletons so lost, hid in the walls, let down, dragged out in the pouring rain, left to drown. I see it on their face with every promise you have broken, another crack found in the foundation. Maybe they'll hear us screaming from our lungs. Maybe they'll see us standing in our graves, fighting through our pain. That you kind of have to either make the choice to help others around you or to submit to the state of the world. And it's kind of that dichotomy of dealing with both of them and wrestling with, okay, should I keep fighting? But if nobody else, if I'm in this alone, is it worth it? Like, should I just give up? And that hoping that the people that are in power, that have created these circumstances that we're all subjected to, at the end, it's they may be forgotten, but I won't forget the hate that you left, the unpayable debt. With each passing moment, the fire consumes, your pride will bury you. Take a look at what you left behind. And it's this kind of final moment where, you know, all my mental health aside, all that I tried to do to save the world, at the end of the day, when the world's burning and falling apart, the people who created these circumstances are going to have to look back on everything that they ultimately created and say, this is your fault. You can blame us all you want, but my struggles, our struggles, the struggles of humanity, this was all your fault, and you have nobody to blame for it but yourself. And to me, that's really fucking cool. Like,
Yeah, you're convincing me to give this one a couple more spins this month.
it should. It's so good. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the last 4 albums have a storyline on the album art covers.
Ooh, I have not picked on that.
Death Grip, she's holding the rose, drops the rose in Dark Skies. And then, do you see, like, the angel drop, like, the colors or whatever? The angel has the rose in Death Grip, isn't holding one in the path, it's dropping in Dark Skies, and the person in hell beneath them catches it in the hell we create. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Am I crazy?
No.
Like,
No, I think you're onto something there.
Dude, this album is so good, and there's so much to unpack. And like sonically, even like that solo in Times Like This, the Ghost Inside feature, everything sonically, lyrically, thematically, it's all so good. I didn't expect to love this as much as I did based off the singles, but even though there are songs like Sink Below, Reaper, and Eyes Will Back are probably my 3 least favorite songs on here that I don't have them saved. But even in saying that, I think they're so integral to the album, and I like them enough, and I'm just going to listen to them anyway, because this album has a very, at least to me, distinct story to tell, and I don't think that it, like, even if I don't save them, it's still worth listening to, because, especially Eyes Roll Back, they're so integral to the story here. And I think that overall this album is a masterpiece.
I'm definitely going to be giving this another listen at the very least.
See, this is like Derek went way more in depth than Ryan did when I saw it live, but this is exactly why I want to like this album.
I feel like I haven't fully made up my mind on this album just because there was so much to listen to this month. Jacob, I feel like you have your mind a little more made up, that you just aren't clicking with it as much. I feel like I still have room to be convinced that this album is better than I was initially willing to give it credit for. I think the only things I'll add, Reaper is still my favorite song on here for the moment. Every day I'm on death row, just fucks. Times Like This, I think, is the most underwhelming song on here. It sounds like many other Fit for a King songs that I've heard in the past that I generally did not really care for. Like, it's a solid song, but it just feels super generic to me. And Eyes Roll Back is like borderline too heavy for me, and I don't love it.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to mention. Does anybody get God of Fire vibes from eyes roll back.
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's not as good as God on Fire though.
No, definitely not. No. I think in conclusion, Derek loves this album. I still have room to be convinced. Jacob
And I want to like
see,
this album.
Jacob
And
wants
Justin
to like
hasn't
it,
listened.
and Justin's
Oh, I
thoughts are
listened
behind the
to it.
paywall.
I listened to it. I'm just not a fit for a King fan anymore.
Anymore. They
Yeah,
You
used
like
it
that
used
one
to
song
be.
on Dark Skies?
No, there were it was
He's a
Never
slave to
Means
nothing,
Nothing, and there was another one that I had saved.
fan.
can't
I'm gonna
remember. Breaking the
guess like
Mirror?
the Price of Agony. I'm gonna guess the Price of Agony. That's my guess.
No,
Doesn't-
it was Locked in My Head.
Ah,
Mm.
yeah,
fair.
that one makes sense. Yeah. So in conclusion, listen to this album and figure out for yourself if you like it or not. Clearly, we have a lot of mixed opinions here, but clearly there is something special going on here as well. So, I think that's going to wrap it up for our October recap.
Yes. Yes, it is.
What a month. What a fucking month. We kept our single so brief and still went to basically 3 hours. So,
Imagine if we'd had more
Well,
singles though.
yeah.
There was some technical difficulties, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
that too. Before we do end off, I do want to make note that Polyphia released an album, and we couldn't discuss it because ultimately we didn't really have enough to discuss about it. But Derek, you liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And Lorna Shore also released an album this month, and we're just gonna move on from that.
It has been growing on me, actually.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
Um,
next episode, I'm going to be talking like Will Ramos.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick note of those two because they're two huge names in the scene right now that we could have been talking about this month, but we're not going to just for reasons. So I just wanted to quickly touch on those before we truly wrap up this episode. Any last comments you guys want to make right now?
Yeah, hopefully November has less.
I think it will. It's on track to have less at the very least.
Fingers crossed. Why would we even say that though? No, I think we've jinxed ourselves.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, November's stacked for concerts. Just saying.
Kind of true.
Yeah.
I could be going to see Stan Atlantic Fit for King and I Prevail this month, but nope. Unlucky.
Is it sold out?
Yeah.
Mm. This is a good show. Other than the Pierce the Veil fans.
All right, I think that's just gonna about do it. Be sure to follow us on social media at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Be sure to check out this month's playlist as well, the October 2022 recap playlist on Spotify for everything we discussed this month. That's gonna do it for us. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next month with our November recap, the final recap before our end of year awards episodes. Stay tuned for more. Lots of exciting stuff coming soon.
Let's go.
Bye.
See ya.